All right, everyone. I think we're live. Let's wait a couple moments for everyone to dial in right now. So again, this is the Urban Prepper live stream. We've been doing it every Saturday now and having a really fun time doing it. We're all kind of quarantining in our homes for the most part. And this is hopefully provides you with a little bit of entertainment. This is going to be an awesome show this week. I'm super excited about it. A little nervous. We have a lot of guests on this one. We're going to kickstart this particular episode with someone I'm a big fan of, this Shane Lewis from the TV show Naked and Afraid. You've probably seen him on there. Also has an awesome book that I read, and we're going to talk with him for the first part of the show. Then we're going to have a very special exclusive interview with President Trump is going to be popping in on the show. We're going to be speaking with him, and maybe Shane will get to talk with him a little bit too. We also have the team from Vanquest. Vanquest makes awesome backpacks and bags and even fanny packs now. And so we're going to be talking with Vanquest a little bit. We also have Tactical Temptress going to be coming into the show to talk with us about how her quarantine is going. And then we also have Thaddeus, who is a security expert up in Seattle. We've used to, before all this stuff was going down, we were talking a lot. And now we haven't had a chance to speak. So now we're going to be doing it live on the live stream. So it's going to be a blast. We'll also probably have some special guests here that will pop in from time to time. So looks like the chat room's going. I see Brandon. Welcome, Brandon. Walter McLean. Welcome, Walter McLean. Thanks for coming on. Looks like the Apex Preppers there. Canadian Preparedness, or Cascadian Preparedness is there. Sean, welcome to the live stream. A couple Seans over there. So I think we're going to, let's see, hopefully everyone could hear me. I imagine that you can. So let's just kick this one off. So introducing my first guest from the hit show Naked and Afraid, also the author of Growing Up Institutionalized to Globetrotting, we're going to bring in Shane Lewis. So here we go. Shane,
hey, Cliff,
can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Good.
Can you hear me?
Awesome. I can hear you. I can hear you just good. Just fine.
Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, thanks a bunch for having it. For wanting to coming on the show. I'm super excited. A little bit nervous. I've been doing a lot of research, and my family's been a big fan of you for years now, and so this is going to be a blast. So, how is everything going for you?
It's good. Just relaxing. I'm one of the lucky few to get to work. So at least I'm working, so I'm not trapped in a house all day long. So that part's good.
Yeah. Do you do like electrician stuff, or is?
Yep.
Yeah. Cool. Yep. That's awesome. Well, a lot of, for those of you that aren't familiar, Shane is a survival expert, and he's gone all around the world for various globetrotting with your go bag is what we've talked about before. But then, and so you wrote this book, Growing Up Institutionalized to Globetrotting, which goes into a lot of detail about your personal life. And I feel like I know so much about you just through the book.
Yeah, that's an interesting comment about that is if I knew and I was going to be quasi-famous, I might have written it differently, because I meet total strangers who know like my entire life, all my demons, all my darknesses. And I'm like, because I published it before I was ever on television. It was cathartic writing for myself.
Yeah, when I was reading it, I was looking at when it was printed, and it was like right around the same time. And so it seems like it got just published, and then you're on the show, and then it all became an open book.
Yeah, open book, literally. Good stuff, though.
Yeah, you go into a lot of detail. I guess you've already wrote about it, so I guess I could talk about it. As far as went into a boarding school at the age of 6, from like 6 to 20, kind of in an institutionalized environment. And you talked about a lot of the struggles that went on there. Maybe for the people that are unfamiliar, could you provide a little bit of background on that?
Sure. Yeah. I guess I was a problem child in 1978. So my parents had put me in my first reform school at age 6. And then from then I spent 13 years in 5 foster homes and 4 institutional reform schools all over New England. I was in one in Maine. I was in one in Pennsylvania. I was in 2 in Connecticut, and foster homes in Maine, and different parts of Connecticut. So state of Connecticut ultimately was my legal guardian by age 8.
Yeah, and you have in the book. There's a lot of stories that went on behind the scenes over there, and then it seems like through that kind of there's some quotes in there that kind of molded how you interacted with people that kind of set the stage, and you've had to kind of I don't know, from what you've described in this book and what we've seen on the show, you're exploring the world, and I don't know what are you in search for in a lot of these globetrotting is.
Yeah, originally I was, I wanted to see what my fellow planetary humans live like. I wanted to, because when I travel, I'm not a Sorry, I'm trying to adjust the.
Yeah.
I'm not a tourist. I'm a traveler. Like when I was in India, I used third class citizen travel, trains, buses, all kinds of stuff, because I want to see how the common man lives on the planet. So that's how it really started. Originally, it was like, oh, I want to see like, Venice and the pyramids and things like that. But then as I got deeper and deeper into cultures, I was like, wow, this is an amazing planet. I want to go experience it firsthand.
How many countries have you been to now?
76.
Oh my gosh. And you'd mentioned how a lot of the global citizens really gained a good respect for you because of you had a lot of depth and knowledge of the different countries and stuff. And so you weren't seen as a tourist often when going to these countries.
No, and I also think a lot of that has to do with my personality of who I am and the kind of in-depth character that I am, because it shows when you meet me and talk to me. For example, I was invited into a gentleman's house hiking in Nepal. I did the Annapurna trek, 118 miles at 14,000 feet through the Himalayas. And I got brought into this man's house in the kitchen while his wife was actually cooking in the backwoods of Nepali mountains. And if anybody knows anything about Nepali culture, no Westerner is allowed in the kitchen while the wife is cooking. Like, she shook my hand. She helped me cook. She taught me how to cook with her in the kitchen. I was like, wow, I'm in shock right now.
Yeah, when you were on the show, Naked and Afraid, my wife, my kids, and myself all gravitated towards you because we felt that you were authentic, that you were real, that you had depth, that you've seen a lot, and it seems like people were able to just pick that up about you, no matter where you go in the world. It seems like.
Yeah, it is remarkable that once I get out of, and I mean, it's no secret that I'm not a huge fan of Western civilization because of the level of narcissism. But when I get outside of Western civ, people know me instantly. Like, I was walking through some hotel. I went to Tahiti for a week to, kind of have some fun and take a break. And a woman walked and she watched me walk across the room and she was like, wow, you've traveled the whole world and you have a lot of character. I never even said hello to her yet. I was like, holy cow, this woman knows me from just walking across the room.
Now, you mentioned in the book that you're a big basketball player. Are you still playing basketball? And I was curious you chose to kick off the book with like a kind of a basketball kind of quarrel that happened in a random country. Where does the basketball background come from? And
well, I got taller as I grew like 8 inches when I was 14 or 15 years old. I slept 15 hours a day. Like, all my bones and joints hurt all the time. And so it just was natural for me to play basketball. Part of it had to do with like the cool crowd of that reform school played basketball until midnight, while anyone who didn't play basketball had to go to bed at 8 p.m. And I was like, So I learned to play basketball and hang out with the guys, or do I go to bed at 8 o'clock at night? That's a no-brainer for me. Yeah. So I started playing basketball, and I love the game. I don't play as much as I used to anymore. But I'll jump on a court and play a little bit here and there. But it served me well. I played in pickup games in Nairobi and Kenya and places like that. And obviously I made a few mistakes in life, and it served me well there too.
Yeah, and you're about 6'5", I think is what you mentioned in the book. Then
yeah, a little over 6'5". Yep.
Cool. So I think I'm about. If I wake up, I might be 6'5", but normally I'm around 6'4". So we're both kind of tall, although I'm horrible at basketball. So.
Okay.
So a lot of people know you from the show Naked and Afraid, and that's where my family became big fans of yours. I was hoping to dive into some of the stuff, specific survival type stuff from the show that you picked up, and then start moving on to the go bag that you mentioned in the book, as far as the backpack that you went on all your world travels with. So what are some of the main takeaways that you learned from being on that show, Naked and Afraid, both psychologically and personally? And
that's a good question. It's a good question. I did learn a lot. I learned a lot about what I can take and what I can't take. I learned my limitations, which is interesting. People who knew me when I was younger would think I would have never learned that. But I learned a lot of skills, like hanging out with EJ and Jeff and some of those guys. I learned things that I had never thought of before, and ways of handling certain situations. I learned a lot about my psyche and how to deal with adverse situations. I'm humbling myself and trying to create that kind of harmonious environment from that everybody just being, piled in, and everyone's got an ego and a super ego. Every cast member is like, thinks they're, little G God out there. So it's difficult sometimes to try to coordinate and work with all the personality types.
Yeah, we what we really liked about you is that on the show there's a lot of stuff that goes on, but we always found that you were doing all these selfless acts for the good of your teammates or for that, and oftentimes like at the expense of your own safety and things. Was that stuff that was where did that come from as far as that natural inclination for you to do those kind of things?
Well, when I first get out there, I try to assess what people's skill sets are, how they talk, how they walk, things like that, my teammates, and then go from there. What I've noticed is that nobody wants to do the lunch bucket work. Everybody wants to get the big kill and, get the 20-minute camera time and all that stuff. But nobody wants to go and chop the trees down to build the lodging and make them waterproof. And I'm like, you know what? I'm a very physical man. I have I have a motor, like, I mean, a off the chart, motor. Like I just don't stop. And I work hard and I like it and I enjoy physical work. So I don't mind doing it. And it's a way of giving back and letting my teammates know that's, do you know the term love language? So when I'm doing things for people and I'm building stuff, that's my love language. That's how I show people that I care about you, that I love you, that I respect you, that I'm willing to put my body and physical, assets on the line.
Yeah. I think when we talked a couple days ago, I mentioned how my son was a big fan of the water well that you dug in there, and you kind of gave an interesting backstory on that. When we go now, like camping, he finds a water source. He wants to build a Shane water well.
Perfect. I love
to do that. So, but you had a kind of a behind the scenes information on that particular one. I don't know if we should go into that.
No problem. Yeah, it's so long ago. That was like 2014 or 15, something like that. So it doesn't matter. It's like ancient history. But yeah, so what happened was we had killed that eel. Mainly Jeff and EJ. They were doing it. When I got there to help them, I saw them getting electrocuted. And I'm an electrician, so I was laughing at them getting electrocuted. I'm like off camera, just chuckling at them. And I was like, that happens to me all the time. So we had like 100 pounds of meat, and none of us had eaten anything quite like that in a little over 3 weeks. So I was like, we're gonna have to go to the bathroom soon. So I went around the area and I started digging a porta potty in the dirt, and I hit clay after like 4 inches, and it started filling in with water. I was like, this just went from a porta potty to a well now, because there's just too much clay and too much water here. I don't have to put lining in it. I don't have to do nothing. The clay walls will be perfect. It filled itself up in 2 hours, and it replenished itself. No matter how much water we took out of it, it replenished itself in like 20 minutes.
Yeah. How does eel taste, the electric eel? And it was the shock that you guys were receiving from it is what it looked like on the show?
Oh yeah. I mean, I didn't get the big brunt of it. Jeff and EJ got the major brunt of that electrocution, but it was like 220. It was like the equivalent of 220 power source. And it tasted like cube shark steaks. I don't know if you saw that. We cut it up and put it on a rotisserie. It was rotating around. So we had them up like, little chunks that were like about that big and maybe that thick. And it tasted like shark steaks.
Yeah. I know that you and EJ are still, and we had EJ on last week. I know that you guys are still in contact. Do you keep in contact with anyone else from the show?
No, I don't keep in contact with anyone else from the show. I just, it's a personal preference. I think the egos are too volatile for my personal taste.
Yeah, and I remember on the show that EJ, because you seem like you run like 100 miles an hour, and if you're not on the XL challenge, when you felt that you weren't able to go 100 miles an hour, that's when you decided to leave on that one. But before you left, that EJ was like brothers for life. So that seems like, and that's a long time ago now. It seems like you're still in contact after all these years then from that too.
Yeah, I talked to EJ right now with the COVID and stuff, and he's trying to take care of his business. I don't talk to him on the phone as much as I used to, but we text, and we normally talk on the phone once every 3 days, no longer than that. It's only since COVID that we haven't talked, verbally. We've had 2 conversations, I think, since then. Yeah. But he's coming to my wedding, and so it's fine.
Cool. Yeah, I heard that you have a fiance. You're getting married, and when the wedding coming up this year or next year, I guess whenever things open up.
We expect it not to affect our wedding at all. It's in sometime in October. I'm not going to give the date.
Yeah. What's a survivalist like you do during this COVID quarantine situation? Because you're able to go out in the middle of nowhere with a knife and a fire starter and able to survive just fine. What do you do in this kind of quarantine situation where everyone's just kind of bundled in? Do you go outside in the woods, or what kind of stuff do you do?
Well, right now first off, I'm laughing at just the absurdity of some of this. But I've been just running and trying to get some exercising because I can't go to the gym, and I'm a gym rat. So I'm trying to do home exercises and, get some running in outside so I can get some air. But, I live on Cape Cod, so I can walk down to the beach and, see beautiful beaches anytime I want to. And it does happen. So, yeah.
Cool. So I was hoping to get into some of the stuff with regard to in the book that you have. Again, everyone, you should pick up the book. It's by Shane Lewis. It's called "Growing Up Institutionalized to Globetrotting," and there's a lot of. I was hoping to go more towards the globetrotting part of the book because
Sure.
there's all these goodies in there, and the people that watch my channel were into backpacks and gear because I don't think any of us want to be naked and afraid survivalists. We all want to be preppers that have a fire, like have a big lighter instead of a friction-based starter.
I have a
fire starter.
backstory for you on that,
Yeah.
that you might appreciate. Is the reason why I did S1E1 was because I do believe that, you know, things are getting a little out of hand with society and culture, and I think these go bags might be important at some point in the near future.
Mhm.
And my go bag used to weigh like 45 pounds, and I thought to myself, you know, if I can go out there and do it naked with almost nothing, then I'll know exactly what I need when I got back. My go
Yeah.
bag now weighs like 18 pounds.
So what is some of the stuff that you had in your 40-pound go bag, and what's the stuff that you chose to get rid of? And then maybe we could also talk about the stuff that you chose, that the essential things that you would not leave.
Well, tent, unless I'm in a cold climate, don't care.
Yeah.
I'm not carrying the 3.5, 4 pounds of it. I don't use any kind of water filtration system. Is not in it anymore. I can just boil water if I have to.
Yeah.
You know, I live in New England, so water and trees to burn is going to be plentiful forever. I got rid of heavy boots. I got rid of heavy socks. I got rid of all kinds of stuff that I didn't need in there because I don't need it. I mean, you know, I was in Asia for 6 months, which is, you know, I was, you know, surfing in Indonesia and climbing at 22,000 feet in Tibet. And my bag weighed 18.6 pounds. And I had to deal with every climate you can possibly imagine.
Do you have a waterproof bag?
Yeah, my bag is waterproof.
Yeah.
I have an Osprey that I use, and it's not only waterproof, but it has the I have the little extra part that can go over the top of it in case, you know, things do get real saturated.
Yeah, and you mentioned in the book that you went on a 6-month trip to Asia, and you felt that it was cheaper for you to go traveling throughout Asia than it would be just to live in the U.S. for that 6 months. Then was that
correct? Because the economy had tanked in 2008, 2009. I was out of work for 3.5 years. There was nothing to do for construction work.
Yeah.
And I was like, I can keep my $1,000 a month apartment, or I can spend $300 a month backpacking through Asia for 6 months. I think I'm off to Asia. See you guys later.
Yeah. And during the travels, and you also mentioned in the book that you had, and we briefly mentioned it, you had this little bear that's on the outside of your backpack that seems to have been in the book. It had only been to 35 countries, which is still a lot. I think now it's up to 70 something, or no, 56
50
countries.
Something the bear is. Yeah, no.
Can you talk about the reason behind the bear that travels with you on your backpack?
Sure. Okay. So, yeah, you like this story. So one of the things I've learned is that when you're traveling alone like that and you're gone for a long time, people pick you out immediately. There's burglars, robbers, whatever, opportunists that want to, you know, take advantage of your situation. So I have timed my pace that I either walk faster or slower than the pace of the culture that I'm in. And I watch the natural pace for a day or so and figure out what the natural speed of how the culture moves. And I will slow down or speed up based upon that. And then I know anyone who's matching my pace is up to no good. I can already feel that they've matched my pace. And the reason why I have the bear is because the bear's in a little mesh bag and she dangles off the back of my back and hangs right at the bottom where people would normally put razor blades and cut the bottom of the razor blade, and all your stuff falls out and then they grab it and run. That's a classic tactic for muggers, for backpackers. Yeah. And she's dangling on my backpack, just swinging. And I can feel the cadence of her bouncing. And I know how she's going to bounce based upon my steps. And if the bounce gets off for some reason, I literally just turn around and look, who touched my bear?
Yeah. And you mentioned in the book that like, I think it was called Crimes Against Poverty is what it was. So like if some young person were to do that and you were trying to protect yourself or your gear, that you could get in trouble for that in some countries. I forget, was that in Cape Town, I believe?
Cape Town, South Africa, in the backpacker area, which is called Long Street. Excuse me. The Long Street area in Cape Town is where all the backpackers are and all the overland tours lead from and everything. And in that area at the time of printing of the book, as far as I know, it still is that way now. Anyone under 18 is allowed to mug you. And if you defend yourself, you are going to go to jail for the night, not the kid mugging you. And it's called Crimes Against Poverty. Jeez. And everybody in Cape Town, in the Long Street area, all the staff and everyone who works the backpackers, they've all been mugged. They know no more. They know better than to keep more than 100 Rand on them in cash at any point in time. Because when they're walking home at 10 o'clock at night, 11 o'clock at night, they cannot. I mean, if I punch somebody, some 12-year-old kid, because he pulled a knife on me, I'm going to go to jail for the night in South Africa.
Jeez Louise. Yeah, and that's like in the preparedness community, we call that like situational awareness. Do you have any other of those kind of tips that you've picked up from your world travels?
Just the best thing is just match your pace, change your pace. Whatever pace you would normally walk at, find the pace that the culture is walking at and slow down or speed up. And that way you'll get an energy feel for you. If you hear a cadence of someone walking at your pace, that everyone else is zooming by you going to work and whatnot. So if you're being lazy and walking slower, someone's up to no good. And then you can, you can adjust your situational awareness based upon that moment in time.
Yeah, and you mentioned in your slimmed down go bag that you just boil the water. In the book, you mentioned that you had some iodine tablets, and one of the little tricks that you did was to put a Jolly Rancher in it to help with the flavor of it. I think is what it was.
Yeah, my guide in India, my camel trek guide in India, he kept calling it sweet water, and he actually got me a bag of candy to put inside the water so that I could purify the water, because iodine can taste awful after a while.
Yeah.
So I drop like a Jolly Rancher or whatever I can get my hands on it to try to get the taste out a little bit.
So you picked that up in India then at the time?
No, I don't know where I learned that from. I probably got it from a fellow backpacker, because it's usually where I get some of my stuff from. So I'm pretty sure that I got it from a fellow backpacker. They're like, "Oh, put a piece of candy in it, you'll change the flavor of it." And I was like, light bulb.
Yeah. As soon as I read that, I found some Jolly Ranchers to put in my bug out bag. So,
yeah, just throw it in the bag. It's perfect.
Any other cool little tips like that you could think of that you do with your particular go bag for your world travels then?
What I do is to drop weight down. If you're going to be in a cold environment, get a pair of like Gore-Tex waterproof running shoes, and then buy a pair of really light gaiters. And now you've got waterproof boots up to your calf. Instead of wearing an 8-pound boot, I can have a 2-pound sneaker and a 1-pound pair of gaiters, and I'm waterproof to just below my knee.
That's awesome. Cool. I'm gonna have to add gaiters now to my Amazon shopping list, I guess then. And you also mentioned in chapter 24, you mentioned about the first aid kit that you had messed up your legs, and it was like the one time that you didn't have your first aid kit with you, and then you actually needed it on that particular. I was curious, what did you keep in your particular first aid kit? And maybe we could talk about that story too.
Super comprehensive. My first aid kit been super comprehensive. The thing is probably easily, I would say something along that
football size,
like a football size, and pretty thick, And then when I was going to Asia for 6 months, it was all about weight, because I have to carry this bag everywhere. And I wasn't stopping and flying like some of the other places and some of the other countries or continents that I've traveled to. I've had some stopovers and layovers so I could move around. But this was going to be full on hiking, walking, carrying a bag, and the real third world. And I was like, I wasn't trying to drop the weight down. So I figured, I've never once used my first aid kit. So it's like 4 pounds. I'm like, we'll take the 4 pounds out of it. And I went surfing in, the Gili Islands in Indonesia, and I tore up my legs so bad that I couldn't even stitch them. And I was like, boy, I wish I had a first aid kit right now. So I had to fly home. I was 24 hours away from a decent hospital and 48 hours away from home. So I was like, this is not good.
Well, where's the one place you've been to so many different countries now? Where's the one place you'd want to go back to like the most?
I mean, it's no secret Iceland is my favorite place on earth. I just returned from there. I proposed to my fiance under the Northern Lights in February 19th or something. It was absolutely gorgeous. I've been there 10 times. It's absolutely breathtaking. The interesting part about that is it was like the 3rd or 4th country I've ever been to. And 71 later, it is still the most beautiful place I've ever seen on earth.
Wow. Yeah. My wife has mentioned that she wants to go to Iceland someday. So now we have now that we know that Shane approves of going to Iceland out of all the countries you've been to, I have to plan some kind of trip there. I'm seeing a lot of comments coming in. I figure we could do some rapid fire Q&A with the people in the chat room. So let's see. This is from Rachel or Rochelle. How often has someone tried to mess with the bag or mug you, Shane?
Russia twice, India twice, Nepal. Some guy tried to take me down. I threw him over a pile of rickshaws, and the cop just looked at me and laughed. And there was one other incident that I had. I can't remember where it was, but 6 or 7 times people have tried.
Wow. So I guess in case
I actually write about the Russia incident in the book.
Yeah.
And I went to take a photograph. I called them out. I felt their energy. I turned around and looked at them. They backed away. I turned around to take a photograph, and they were even closer within seconds. I was like, yeah, I don't need this photograph. I'm just going to keep on walking.
This one's from the Apex Prepper. It says, how will your personal preparedness and survival techniques change after you get married?
It doesn't change at all. Me and my fiance have discussed it. My fiance has done 2 Naked and Afraids herself. And she's fully aware of the situation that, we've talked about, and we're good to go.
Wow, cool. So if you were to do another, we asked this to EJ last week, so I was curious on your response on this. If you were to go on another Naked and Afraid style challenge, and you could only bring 5 things with you, what would be the 5 things that you would bring with you?
Depending on location.
Let's
just give me a temperature. Give me a temperature range.
Let's do Cambodia again.
First thing that I would bring is grab my 5 fingers. There's a pair of shoes that Vibram makes to protect my feet, because I would give up tools for that. No water purifier. I would have a knife and a mini hammock and a sleeping bag. I mean, a mini hammock and a tarp. Done. Don't need anything else. Oh, I would get a fire starter. A flintlock fire starter.
Cool. See some
Friction
more,
fire is really difficult to make in the humid jungle environments. I have the utmost respect for people like Billy Berger and those guys who have, manned up and made friction fire in a jungle environment.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the people do it in their backyard, but it's a different story when you're out there with everything wet.
It's very difficult when you have 85% humidity, man. It's not the easiest thing in the world to do.
Yeah, geez Louise. Let's see. We have Melody says, sounds like congratulations are in order, Shane. Best wishes. That's for
cheers.
Proposal.
Thanks.
Let's see. We had Mark Olson's asking about a mosquito net.
Okay, so let me tell you a story. So I did not get bit up by any mosquitoes in Africa until day 38. And here's the reason why. If I was to do another challenge, I covered my entire body with Vectra 3D. It's a oil that you use for dogs to kick ticks and mosquitoes off of it. Yeah. And I also ate 200 pounds worth of NexGard, which was just awful to chalk down. I had to break it up in chunks and eat it. The first tick that bit me in Africa died on contact. I didn't get bit by anything until day 38. So if I was to do another one again, I would do the exact same thing again. Cover my entire body with Vectra 3D and eat NexGard.
Wow. Okay. Let's see. We have, do you have any, this is from Alpha Prepping. Do you have any regrets of not doing or seeing any sites or activities on your travels?
No, I don't regret anything. First off, I don't miss much. In most countries, when I meet people who've been there, I've seen most of the country that they will never see, and they're indigenous population. When I travel, I don't go for 1 week or 2 weeks. I go for months. So there's very little that I miss that I want to see. But there are a few things that I have missed, and I just go, it hurts. It hurts sometimes to miss a couple of those things.
Where's the next place that you're going to be going to? Do you have any upcoming travel plans?
Not yet, and obviously till COVID calms down. But I would love to do a backpack trip through the Middle East, and I would love to do a backpack trip through South America. Those are the 2 parts of the world that I've seen the least of. So they're on my bucket list to get there someday.
Yeah, one of the things on the show, you made a comment on, I think it was on Excel, where you said something along the lines of that the good thing about you being on this challenge, you said that you don't have any kids, you're not married, and you said that no one cares about you, but it's obvious that thousands of people do. Has that outlook changed since coming out with a book and being on the show, and then all the different fans that you've gotten from all around the world?
To be honest, that is the one thing I love about having done the show, is that when people meet me, they don't see orphan written across the top of my forehead anymore. They see a guy who's done a lot and accomplished a lot, who's come out of, a very dark youth and has made something of his life. And so at the time when I said that on S1E1, that no one cared about whether I lived or died, that was true. Like, I had no girlfriend, I had no family, I had no parents. Like, I don't speak to my parents. I don't speak to anyone that's related to me. I have zero contact with them. None of them are coming to my wedding, if that tells you anything right there. Yeah. So that was true at the time. But now, I do have some really good fans that I talk to constantly, that know me a lot better. Obviously, I have EJ. We call each other brother. I'm not going to speak for EJ's past, but, some things have happened in his life that he's very, pleased to have me in his life, and that we're brothers and that we talk to each other and treat each other that way. So no, it's not applicable to me anymore. But at the time when I said that on S1E1, that was very true. And I had almost died in that moment. Kim nearly lit me on fire. So I was like, oh, it doesn't matter whether I live or die anyway, because no one's going to miss me. And at the time it was true.
Yeah, that was a crazy scene that happened on that particular one.
It was a crazy scene.
Vanquest. We have a prepper agenda that says, "Hey Shane, do you have a ED's everyday carry? Do survivalists do everyday carry, or do you guys get by with whatever?"
No, I just get every day. I don't carry anything quite like that. I just have, I might have a blade on me, a little small blade just in case, and a fire starter that's, in a bag in my car, but I don't carry anything from day to day. Like I'm so adaptable, and I've got clothes and shoes and things on, so I could make a million things off of what I'm wearing most of the time.
And then we have another one from here. What's your worst travel experience?
Whoa. Okay. So, India is unbelievable. The only way to describe India is it is literally hell on earth. Because take all 5 of your senses, and I do mean every single one of them, and put them on maximum overload 24/7, and that's India.
Yeah, you mentioned that in the book that you said it was a super tough country to backpack in the book.
Super tough.
Wow. So
if you're not prepared for it, like if you don't have the mental capacity for it, I mean, because us in Western civilization, we don't see the level of deformities that you see every day. You might see 1 or 2 homeless people, and I used to live close to the city, New York City, that is, sorry. And you'd see a few homeless people around there, but you don't see people with like legs growing sideways and cleft palates that are destroying all the way up to their cheekbones, and eyeballs that have been scooped out of their eye heads and stuff. And you see them by the hundreds, if not the thousands every day. It will break you up if you're not prepared for that. Then it's 100 degrees heat, and it smells like smells like human defecation everywhere. It's a brutal, brutal place. I mean, if you're traveling first class, have at it. You've got, the upper caste, citizens are around you, and they smell like jasmine and all that good stuff. But if you step out into the real India, whew.
Jeez Louise. This one's maybe a little off topic. I'm seeing a few comments here in the comment section with regard to shoes. I remember that on the show that they kind of downplayed. You had 3 broken toes, I think, in the show that kind of got a little downplayed on it. Where that seems like absolutely crazy to try to do that with broken toes. Is that a true story?
No, that is a true story. I broke my first, second, and third toe from thumb in order from the big toe down to the pinky toe. Sorry, it would have been the second, third, and fourth toe. And they were literally broken at a 45-degree angle. What happened was I stepped on a rock, and my foot slipped because we got 15 inches of rain the first 9 days in Costa Rica, and it jammed into the rock that was wedged in front of it and just snapped them right off.
Oh my gosh.
I was like, oh my gosh, it hurts so bad. And then, obviously what annoyed the mess out of me is that they always enjoyed showing me being in pain every once in a while when I would bump them, but they never explained to the audience why I was in such excruciating pain. And the reason why I was told later on by someone is because I didn't make a big deal out of it. Well, if you break your toes and go to a hospital, the only thing they're going to do is pop them back in place and tape them together. What is tape going to do in an environment where it's raining 15 inches of rain? It's not going to do anything. There's no point in seeing the medic. So they just wanted to make fun of me and make it look like I was in pain and crying all the time. Well, I had 3 broken fresh toes, man.
That's crazy. Jeez Louise. I see a few different shoes comments here. I don't know why everyone's into shoes right now. But this is Melody. Best footwear for sub-zero weather?
It really depends on what your agenda is. Like I said, I hiked, 115 miles, 118 miles for Annapurna Trek, mostly above 12,000 feet. I topped out at 22,005. And the only thing that I had for shoes and all of that was a pair of, I can't remember what they were called, Hedgehog, North Face Hedgehogs. They were Gore-Tex waterproof. So when I'm in Iceland, it's a whole nother ball game. I wear La Caca Sportifs climbing boots with a heavy Vibram sole on it, but that's because I'm about to go vertical on ice. So I would normally not wear such a heavy boot, but it's different when I'm climbing.
Cool. Yeah. So there's a couple questions there. I said the most reliable waterproof shoes. So I think you already answered that one. So
yeah.
Cool. So again, I have a little banner going on the bottom. Make sure that you pick up Shane's book, The Growing Up Institutionalized to Globetrotting. It's available on Amazon and on Kindle. Now, you're not on a lot of the other social media things. You kind of got away from social media and kind of the limelight.
Yeah, I wanted to take a break. I got sick and tired of, being famous in 2020 is not fun. Nobody really wants you there. Everyone's trying to knock you down and pedal you down, especially if you're someone like me that's as blunt honest as I am. And I'm honest about my own deficiencies. Like, you can ask any one of my 22 teammates. If I say something that's inappropriate, I will apologize to you long before you even bring it up to me. I will literally say, I was out of line. I'm sorry. That was inappropriate. This is what I was thinking. I had no right to be that way. It was just a bad moment in time. So I'm a very honest and open person, and people just want to shred people like me because they're thinking, ooh, he's got to have some kind of dirt. He's got to be some kind of DB. You know, so I just get torn apart. And I was like, you know what? These people don't know anything about me. They don't know my personality. They don't know how much I give to people. No one ever expresses that or tells them anything. And so they just see, you know, the crappy edit that I get year after year.
Yeah. So I guess what's next? Because I know that we have. I don't want to keep you here for too long. I have a bunch of different notes here, but I didn't get to all of them. Again, we have POTUS coming on shortly after you. Do you have a specific question that you want to ask the President of the United States?
I just want to tell him that he's doing a great job, and I totally understand the real scope of trying to handle 350 million citizens in a country going through this kind of crisis. I think POTUS is doing a phenomenal job.
Cool. So I just got a text message that we're probably going to be dialing on pretty soon. So I think we could take a few more questions from the Q&A, and I have a few more questions myself, and then we'll bring everyone on together. I know that we have I don't know if you're familiar with the company Vanquest. I see that we have a couple of the team members from Vanquest that are going to be coming on shortly. Cool. So let's see. Let's talk about another one from Rochelle or Rachel. What are the most important skills to learn?
The first thing I would suggest is that prep your head that anything that can go wrong will go wrong. So do not get set in your ways. Adaptability. We had this phrase that I made in Africa in XL4. It was adapt or tap, because the environment is going to throw so many different curveballs at you. If you're set in your ways, you're just going to be aggravated in your head. You've got to be prepared for the constant adjustment of whatever plan you thought you had.
Yeah. Let's see. Going through a couple more of the questions, just kind of scrolling through. It's hard to multitask all this. We talked about the mosquito net. Let's see. We already talked about where you're going to ask the POTUS. Lessons learned. We talked about EDC. We talked about you getting mugged. So I'm going to go back through my notes really quick over here on some of the other things that we had. Oh, there was another. I think the story we briefly touched on this as far as. You were in London and there was someone from Finland. They had a can opener on the outside of their backpack. And I think we started to talk a little bit about the stuff in your go bag that you choose not to have anymore. Do you have a can opener on the outside of your backpack? And what other kind of cool little tricks have you learned from other backpackers around the world?
One of the coolest things I learned was a German group, and they had a map for every city that they go to, and they had a little compass. I'm trying to get it on the camera, like a compass about this size. Yeah. And every time they came up from a subway system or got off a train or a bus, they would pull the little compass out and look at their map and get their bearings straight. I can't tell you how worthwhile that little piece of advice is, because I've been lost in 100 cities, not knowing which direction I'm facing. Okay, I could look up at the sun and go east and west, but there's northeast, southwest, things like that you can do. And if it's a rainy day, you're not going to see the sun. So
yeah, and it was just a little button, one of the little button compasses.
It was a button compass. Unbelievable. Nothing fancy.
Cool. Let's see. We have the Apex Prepper. So much respect for you, Shane. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Then what's the next big adventure? We kind of touched about that a little bit. Right now, where everything's on hold, I imagine.
Yeah, the world is on hold. But when it's done, I would love to spend more time in the Middle East and more time in South America.
Have you thought about doing any other books?
I do have some ideas on another one. I mean, a lot has happened to me since I, did Naked and Afraid. So it's like, holy cow. I probably could write another one, but I got to do it for the right mindset and the right reason. I didn't write that book to make any money. It was for cathartic reasons. And I don't want to do it out of vengeance or to throw people under the bus. And I still have a little bit of anger and stuff in my heart over some of those things. So I'm trying to put it on hold until I'm in the right mind frame. But yes, there is a second one in the process. I still have journals and stuff that I write everything down in. So when I do get to the right mindset, I'll be able to write it properly. Yeah.
So again, I'm going to keep plugging it because we're not going to plug any other social media sites, but pick up the book. You can get it on Kindle. It's like $3, I think, on the Kindle Reader. And then you could get the physical book for around $12 or so. And I breezed right through it because it read, it's obvious it's written by you. It wasn't some kind of ghostwriter or anything like that. And it's super authentic, just like kind of what I expected from what I've seen you. I kind of imagined what your personality was like just from the show, as far as the depth and the amount of things that you've seen. And it really comes across in the book that you just kind of poured it all out there on this from including some really dark moments of your life.
Yeah, the reason why I did it that way, and it's kind of like a James Joyce stream of consciousness style, was because I felt that with the content that I was discussing and the amount of things that happened to me that most people will never believe anyway, if I don't write it in this, blunt, raw style, no one's going to believe what happened to me. So I was like, I'm just going to put it all out there in a stream of consciousness and as raw as I possibly can, and we'll see what happens.
And how long did it take you to do the entire book? We've talked to a couple other authors. I have some books in the background here, and they're in the chat room right now. But how long did it take you to write the book and get it all published and everything?
14 months.
14 months. And that's going through like all the editors and all of that kind of stuff too.
7 edits. I had to do 7 different edits.
Well, I'd definitely like to see a part 2 book because it seems like a lot's happened just since this is almost about 8 years old now.
Yeah, well, that's 8 years old, but I'm 48, and that book stops at age 40. So, I think
Cool.
I think it's 40. I can't remember. The last part is me jumping out of a plane in Hawaii. So I think it's 40. Yeah.
Yeah. So in the book, you were mentioning how in your travels that when you saw Americans, that the Americans were wearing like Canadian flags and stuff like that. Where did that? What was the whole background behind that, or what are your thoughts on that now?
See, it just goes. I'm a very honest person. I am what I am. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to play games. I don't lie. I don't play games. I don't mince words. And I just feel like it's just part of the facade of Western civilization. Like you want to travel around the world, but you're too much of a PU ... to man up. I mean, I got a New York Yankees hat and I don't give a flying whatever. Like New York all the way. Like I don't care. So I was kind of annoyed listening to Americans say, yeah, I went backpacking, but I put a Canadian flag on my backpack because I just didn't want any hassles. I'm like, well, if you weren't a narcissistic POS, maybe you wouldn't bring it, because as I said in the book, you get what you bring. If you're going to bring that American self-entitled attitude when you travel around the world, well, you're going to get treated like crap, because the rest of the world can see through that in a second. Unlike America, where you're dealing with all these facades and no one can see the truth, the rest of the world can see right through the facades in seconds.
Yeah.
So I just find it annoying. Like, man up, be a real man, be who you really are. Don't hide it. Like, just grow up.
Yeah, and you, you mentioned earlier in this live stream how in Nepal, you walked in Nepal instantly. They could see. I think people could sense when someone's being real, when someone's authentic, versus when it's a front or a fake.
And I think that's my biggest strength, is that from moment to moment at any given day, you're not getting any fluff and you're not getting any ego that's going to get in the way. It's going to be blunt, honest, raw. Like, it's just the way it is.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, again, I've been talking about the book. I think we've talked over a lot of the topics that I had over here. You mentioned, like, oftentimes when you're going on these, I was trying to figure out how you're affording to go on these multiple, like 60 days, 54 days to different countries. It sounds like this is something that you kind of gear up for. Like you mentioned, some proceeds from the house sale previously would go towards certain trips. Is that how you kind of fund it now, or just go 100 miles an hour, work, and then go take
that's what I did for 10 years. I was a union electrician for a long time, and I'd be out of work for 3 or 4 months a year. And I'm like, well, I'm not allowed to solicit my own work because it's illegal. I'll get fined. And, I've got so many haters and people don't like me. So they always report me for every little thing I do wrong, which I find hilarious. Like, people in glass houses love to throw stones at Shane. But so I would just work all the overtime, everything I could. And I would eat rice and noodles for 4 or 5 months every night, and save up my money, and then just see you later.
Cool. Well, so this has been awesome. I've always wanted to talk with you. A little bit nervous on my end because I've seen so much of you, and just try to really relate to your authenticity that you have and your personality. I've really enjoyed it. You've been my entire family is a big fan of you, Shane. So thank you so much for being on the show.
I'd like to tell one story, if you don't mind.
Yeah, yes.
Just to give an example of the kind of person that I am. So before I went to XL4, I had gone to Yankee Stadium to see the Yankees play the Sox. And I'm a big fan of baseball. I'm a big fan of the rivalry. And so I had this NY, New York, Boston hat on, which was stenciled. It was like a $60 baseball cap, like stitching, all the stuff. It wasn't stickers or paint or anything. And I'm checking in a flight to transfer from, I don't know, like Johannesburg to wherever we were flying to. And the guy checking my ticket in, he's like, oh my gosh, I'm a huge fan. Someday I'll get to go to America and watch a Yankee Sox game. He pulls out a photo album and shows me how he plays for the Yankees in South Africa on a baseball team and things like that. And I just took my baseball cap off and gave it to him and walked away.
Wow. That is awesome. That doesn't surprise me though either. So, well, cool. Everyone, make sure you pick up Shane's book, "Growing Up, Institutionalized to Globetrotting." This is Shane Lewis. You've probably seen it from the hit show Naked and Afraid. I see that we have another. Our next guest is ready to go in the broadcast. Are you able to stick around for?
Sure.
I'll introduce the next guest, and then I'll be able to introduce you to him momentarily. So, again, this has been Shane Lewis from the hit TV show Naked and Afraid, also author and world traveler. Thanks a bunch, Shane, for being on the show. And
my pleasure, Cliff. Thank you.
If you could just stick around, I'll come bring you back in a second. So. All right, guys. So that was fun. Again, that was Shane Lewis. So our next guest, people that have followed my channel, I've been doing these YouTube videos now for about 10 years. I don't talk about religion. I don't talk about politics. I don't talk about firearms. I try to keep it down the middle, and because I don't want any of that. I want to bring the widest audience to my channel. But sometimes when you have a really large guest that wants to make an appearance on the show, you bring them in there. So I'm super excited on this next guest. So we have the President of the United States, Donald Trump, is going to appear on the live stream. So let's bring him in now. Ladies and gentlemen, the President, Donald Trump.
Well, it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me. Great to be here. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. So I didn't know that you were even into emergency preparedness. Can you talk a little bit about that? Or?
Well, I think it's very important. And what's happening right now, I think everybody can see that this can happen at any time. And you have to be prepared. And I think what you guys are doing is tremendous. And I've been tuning in because I think I like what I see, because look what's happening in the world around us. I mean, the world's falling apart and we don't know what we're going to deal with from day to day. So I think what you're doing is very noble. Thank you.
That's great. So I don't know if you know the previous guest. He was on the show Naked and Afraid. But Shane wanted to come say hi to you. Here's Shane over here now. Shane, meet the President, Donald Trump.
My pleasure, Mr. President.
Great guy, Shane. Tremendous. I love the show. I love what you're doing. And I watched it and I couldn't believe what you guys, I could never do what you do. I think it's very admirable and very American what you're doing. So I thank you for that.
Thank you so much. I just want to tell you, you are doing a phenomenal job. The difficulties in the situation that you're dealing with 350 million citizens is complex beyond most people's comprehension. And I think you're doing a fantastic job with the situation.
I think we are too. I think, you know, when this all happened, the economy was unbelievable. We were doing tremendously. And then what happened, we had the greatest economy in the history of our country. And we had the greatest economy in the history of the world, right? And then one day it just stopped. They said, you got to shut everything down. And I said, what are you talking about? They said, you got to shut it down. And so this is new to us, but we got to get back to work, because very important we get back to work, because there's a pent up demand and people want to get back because we want to work. And that's what this country is built on. So that's what we're doing, but safely, very safely.
Agreed.
Well, cool. Thank you, Shane, for appearing on there and having a couple words with the president. So I'm gonna drop you off now. We'll do an exclusive interview now with the President, Donald Trump.
Thank you very much. Have a good day.
Thank you. Cool. Well, Mr. President, again, I'm super excited for this. Can you provide us with any background information, any new thoughts and intel with regard to the current COVID-19 coronavirus?
Well, as you know, when this all started, you know, the cupboards, when I took over office, the cupboards were bare. The previous administration left us very little. And so we didn't have anything, okay? And then when this all happened and we had to shut everything down, you know, the press, what I call the fake news, right? CNN, the corrupt news network, NBC, nothing but crap. They said, where's the ventilators? And so we started making thousands and thousands of ventilators, unbelievable amount of ventilators. And now we're like the king of the ventilators, so much so that we're giving them to other countries like Spain and Germany, even some of the shitholes. And then they said, where's the testing? And they said, testing. I said, what do you mean testing? We're doing it. And they said, but we need more testing. And now we're doing testing. And we've just today alone, I think we did about 200 million tests today. And that's before I got on the interview. So I think we're doing tremendously.
Well, I'm hoping with your appearance on this live stream that the ratings will probably be a natural boost, I imagine.
I mean, no offense, Cliff, but I came on and your ratings, not so good. Okay. I would say they're okay, but they're not Trump ratings, you know that. And then I come on today and I'm looking around and I think we probably got millions of people watching today. obviously it was leaked that I was coming on, and this is now a great turnout. So hopefully this will give you a little boost. I hope it gives.
I appreciate it, Mr. President. Any tips that you could provide us with helping us avoid spreading this virus that's going around right now?
Well, there's guidelines that we developed, as you know, certain guidelines that I think you've got to follow. I think, we've Dr. Birx and Fauci, we work together, and they're basic and they're easy. I mean, I can do it. Number one, everybody knows that you got to wash your hands, keep them clean, very clean. Okay. Wash the hands. The social distancing, very important, 6 feet apart. Okay. I've been doing that with Melania my whole relationship, so I know all about it. Okay. And then you got to do just little things. If you go outside, you got to wear a mask. You wear a mask, right? When you go out?
I have a few different masks. Yes, sir.
You got to, if you don't have a mask, put anything on. Wear a jockstrap. Just put something on. Okay.
So my son heard that the president's coming on the live stream, and he goes by the name Kid Prepper. Do you want to say hi to the president?
Hello.
Hello. Nice to meet you. Look, nice. He's got the army hat on. I like that.
Yeah.
Great kid, tremendous kid. And we love the military. You know that. We've got a tremendous military.
Yes, we do.
The military was depleted when I took over. And now the military is, I mean, we're scarier than, I think, Rosie O'Donnell at a nude beach. I can tell you that.
Sorry. So a lot of us are currently quarantined in our home right now, and we're kind of living off of a lot of our emergency preps and pantry items. Your good friend Nancy Pelosi, I saw, had some ice cream, which you recently got in trouble for requesting 2 scoops. And what kind of stuff do you have in your pantry, Mr. President?
Well, I think for me, it's different. The priorities are different. I mean, I have what I like in the pantry: hot dogs, hamburgers, pizza, M&Ms, chocolate, that sort of stuff, because I love it. And that's my comfort food. You know that.
Yeah.
That's the stuff I keep. I don't know what you guys keep. You guys look like you're in great shape.
Yeah.
And I'm in good shape. I don't know if you know this. I went to the doctor the other day. I said, "What do you think?" He said, "I've never seen a body like this on anybody." Yeah. I said, "Really? Like a president?" He said, "No, anybody." He said, "You got the greatest body, I think, in the history of bodies." I can't believe it.
Yeah.
He said, "Give me a fat test." He said, he gave me the results. He said, "We've never seen anything like it. 90% muscle, 10% money." Okay. So we're doing pretty good.
The previous guest that we had on, Shane Lewis, he was on the show Naked and Afraid. Would you ever appear on a show like that, Naked and Afraid?
Well, I like the naked part, to be honest with you. I like that. It depends on who I'm with, I guess. If I was with someone like Nancy Pelosi, I wouldn't like it. But if it was a Russian girl I met at a strip club, maybe. You never know.
Okay. Recently, it was Cinco de Mayo this past Tuesday. Did you do anything special during Cinco de Mayo?
We had a couple of holidays this week, which we tried to acknowledge. We had Cinco de Mayo, which I like it. I've always liked Cinco de Mayo because it has the word mayo in it. So I like that. But it's a great day because we love Mexico. We love Mexicans. They're tremendous people, amazing people. We love them. But we want them to come in legally, as you know, through the illegal ports of entry. Yeah. And they're doing a tremendous job. But and days like that, a holiday, I try to get rid of the bad ones. We got to get rid of the bad ones.
Like which ones?
You know what I'm talking about, right? Not the good ones, the bad ones. And by bad ones, I'm talking about gang leaders, gang members, Selena Gomez, maybe the band Menudo, throw them out. A few mariachi bands.
Got it. I got it. On my particular channel, we talk about emergency preparedness, and a common topic is the topic of EDC, or everyday carry, the stuff that we carry in our pockets on a day-to-day basis. Mm-hmm. I was curious, what do you, Mr. President, carry as your EDC or your everyday carry in your pockets?
Well, the basics that other people carry. A cell phone, got to have the cell phone, so you can go on Twitter. I can make a remark whenever I need to do it. When I'm dealing with the fake news. I carry a pen. Obviously, it's good to have a pen. A condom, good to, food, a cheese sandwich, I'll put in my pocket. Nunchucks. What if I get in a street fight? Somebody attacks me, a terrorist. Yeah. The security's somewhere else. You know what I mean? So you have to be ready.
Yes. So I know that we only have a couple moments left because you have a very busy schedule. You have an upcoming election coming up. Do you want to touch on anything with regard to the upcoming election cycle?
Well, I don't know, the people that are viewing, I hope they're Trump supporters. They might not be. that's okay, because I think a lot of people that didn't like me, they started to like me. People that were against me are now calling me. They're like, please, I hope you win, because the country is a total disaster. And now they see that the country's getting better and better, the greatest economy in the history of the world. I mean, our unemployment lower than Bill Cosby's zipper. I could tell you that. It's the number. And they're calling me up, and I think we're going to win by a landslide, to be honest with you, because they got Sleepy Joe, and he's not doing so good.
Yeah.
And they got Tara Reid now coming out after him, and not the pretty one, the ugly one is coming out, Tara Reid. Not the one from American Pie, the other one.
Okay.
So he's in very bad shape.
Yeah. Okay. So, well, thank you for just the time that you've been able to bring to the show. And the ratings, I know, are probably going to be seeing some good things from that. I would like to introduce you to the next guest that we're going to be bringing on. I don't know if you're familiar with the company Vanquest, but they make great backpacks. You might want to look into, Mr. President. So I was just going to bring on the folks from Vanquest over here. I know that they want to say hi to you as well, to see if they can see you. There we go. So this is Michael and Taylor from Vanquest. I'd like to introduce you to the President of the United States, Donald Trump.
Great to meet you. Great to meet you both. Nice guys. They look like nice guys.
So your son actually follows us on Instagram. I don't know if you know this.
Which one? Which son?
Donnie Jr.
You know, the good one.
Well, the hunter. He's the hunter. You know that, right? He's the hunter.
That's right.
We went hunting recently, and he likes bear. He likes to go after bear. He likes tigers. He likes all different animals. And I said to him, we should go after Rosie O'Donnell. But I said, you're going to need more than bullets. Probably napalm and an elephant gun. You don't take her down.
We also have another guest that wants to drop in and say hi. This is Tactical Temptress, a good friend of mine. Tactical Temptress, meet the President of the United States, Donald Trump.
Wow. Hi.
Nice to meet you. Look at you. Got finally a pretty one. Look, a pretty one out here. I had to look at a bunch of ugly guys, and now I see you.
Okay.
Tremendous. I'm so glad you tuned in. Very nice to meet you.
Well, I'm gonna be bringing both Vanquest and Tactical Temptress on a little bit later. But Mr. President, I want to thank you again for taking the time to appear on this live stream, and best of luck to you moving forward. Is this something that you might consider appearing on in the future?
Well, I have a busy schedule, winning, because I like to win, and I'm going to win the election. But you called me, and look, you and I have a good relationship. I like you. So call me, and maybe I'll come back, okay?
Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much, Mr. President. And again, I think everyone in the comment section really appreciates you taking the time to talk with the audience about prepping and other things. So thank you again, Mr. President.
A pleasure to be here. Thank you.
All right. Take care. All right, guys. I told you we had President of the United States, Donald Trump, came on for the show. So that was a very special treat. I hope that you guys enjoyed watching it. So again, we brought on the guys from Vanquest. We have Michael and Taylor. So that was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So yeah, you guys both have fanny packs, I see.
We do. We definitely do.
Yeah. So let me really quick. I have mine too. 1 second.
Aha.
So I never thought I'd be so happy to have a fanny pack in my possession. I think I have the same. We have the same kind that you guys have. So.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, we just dropped these. These are the dendrites. I'm wearing the small. Taylor has the large one on.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, it's been back in style for a while, mostly dictated by fashion. People are wearing those joggers, pants that don't have good support, no belt loops. You can't really put anything in them, small pockets. So everyone's putting their cell phone keys, EDC, in the fanny pack.
Cool. Do you think we could convince Donald Trump to carry a fanny pack? Is a Vanquest one?
Man,
Depends on what it's made out of.
Yeah, like maybe a Russian one or like one of those Adidas.
Cool. So I'm trying to see if I can fit you guys both. Yeah, that's not going to work on the screen. You guys either have to be really close with each other, or let's go this style. I think that's going to be
That works.
That's cool.
So we didn't really come up with any kind of a game plan to talk about, except we're going to talk fanny packs. We're going to talk about other things Vanquest related. But how are you guys? This is the first time I've actually got a chance to talk in front of the camera in front of Taylor. So hey, Taylor.
Yes. Yeah. Great to meet you, Cliff. Glad to have us on. Yeah,
this is a treat. So I guess we're going to be freestyling in this particular portion of the stream. So
that's how it's done.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, what do you guys? What should we talk about first? Should we talk about fanny packs? Should we talk about the quarantine? Should we check in with you on that, or?
Yeah, let's go with the fanny packs.
Yeah, let's go fanny pack. So I featured a different company's fanny pack because I had no idea there was a Vanquest fanny pack that was coming on, and then a week later, then you said, "Hey, you got to switch it up for the Vanquest," and so I'm in the process now of switching my fanny pack over to the Vanquest one. That's what can you tell us about these new Vanquest fanny packs?
Yeah, first they exist. You know,
Yeah.
A lot of people take that for granted, but it's real. You know, look. Potato for scale.
Okay.
All right. So I have the smaller one, and like anything that we do, the gear is built for the user. It's really just for you guys. It's not something cool that we wanted to make. It's not something that we're trying to make as a product to compete with all the other companies making fanny packs or shoulder bags or waist packs or whatever else people are calling them now.
Yeah, I think I see in the comment section that in the UK it's called a bum bag.
Yes.
Yeah. Packs, belt packs.
Right. But yeah, I mean, it's part of the new Urban series that we just released, and that series is just all about urban lifestyle. It's just it looks normal in your day-to-day goings about whatever you're going to do. It's commonplace. It doesn't look tactical. It's not all Velcro and mollied out, and it's really dictated by you. If you're Joe Tactical, if you got your 511 tuxedo on, and
sunglasses, and
right, if you're the dime store operator, dude, that's kind of you. It's not really the gear because you can pull off.
511 tuxedo. That's funny.
Yeah, it's really common.
I like how we're wearing them kind of like WWF champions, with their belt on them. That's how Stone Cold Steve Austin would wear his fanny pack.
Yeah, exactly. But no, so with these, just like anything that we do, it's all about practicality. I actually have mine set up as an IFAC. So most people, there's a couple issues with carrying an IFAC when you're just going to leave the house without an actual bag, a full backpack or something. The ankle kits work depending on if you live in those environments where you can wear an ankle kit. If you're wearing long pants and you're in the South or any place in the world where it's humid and hot and you're just producing pounds of sweat down each leg, that's uncomfortable. There's a lot of low profile ones that go on the belt line, and the problem there too is kind of this minimalism. You can only carry a smaller compromised tourniquet, or if you can carry a full-size tourniquet like a cat, it's just kind of bulgy and weird. So you're always trying to conceal it. We might as well just blend in and wear something that everyone else is wearing, and you can have a full med kit. So I set mine up with the Spartan red pulls.
Yeah, those are awesome.
Medical. And also, this is the only compartment that matters. There's stuff in the other pockets. There's a front pocket here. And there's a rear security pocket here. And that would fit something like normally your passport, boarding pass, a wallet. But if I pop this guy open, we'll try to catch all this.
Wow, look at that.
You kind of see there's literally everything in there. There's my cat tourniquet. Here are my new one shear shears, the upgraded steel. It's M390. It's pretty cool being a knife guy that somebody's out there using premium steel, some M390 on shears. And
the last time that you were on, you taught us the difference between scissors and shears. So that's
right. And again, to rehash, we got 3. So we got for the mechanical advantage of the thumb and the 2 fingers, whereas a standard scissor traditionally would be this, and maybe even 2 finger with a second rest, or what they would call a pinky rest, and that would be a scissor. But
very nice.
Yeah. So I mean, you can get everything in this small one. This is everything that's not standard bleeding control. So we got the tourniquet. Always have a little Sharpie. It's not just for tagging. You can actually use it pretty well on all the medical stuff. And you got a backup tourniquet or
so if someone has an injury, you could put some medical information when they get sent to the hospital, like a blood type, or this happened here at this time.
Yeah, whatever information you have, blood type, the time you put on the tourniquet, all that stuff.
And it writes on, glass, concrete, steel. You got to remember fabric. It writes on everything. Maybe even your hat, if that's
I don't know. That's. So
Maybe don't wear the hat. That would solve a lot of issues.
We're on quarantine. He hasn't had a haircut in a while.
Yeah, the hat's part of my branding now. I have stickers with the hat, so I can't change it now.
Yeah.
That's why everyone gives me crap about not shaving my beard for the quarantine.
Well, there's no reason to shave, so we just
No, you guys look good. We have a couple questions here really quick for Alpha Prepping. Mike and Taylor, what is your favorite Vanquest product?
That's a good one. So I'm actually going to go with it's a discontinued product, unfortunately.
the potato, the Vanquest potato.
But the Javelin Sling Pack is my go-to. I usually favor single shoulder.
Yeah.
The Javelin's definitely one that to this day, I bought the Gen 2 almost 4.5 years ago, and I use it all the time. It's one of my favorites.
Okay. And we have someone, this is I have a question, Vanquest, ... And then there's no question there.
Ellipses.
Yeah, so we'll see. We'll find out on this. So these ones aren't designed for like having a firearm. Then specifically, they're more multi-purpose.
You absolutely can have a firearm in here. I'm going to do finger gun. It's loaded.
Okay.
It's cocked and locked.
Is that safety checked? Is that safety checked?
Condition 1. Yep.
Okay.
Clear.
It's clear.
I'll go downrange. I don't want to break the 180 here.
Yeah.
Yeah, you definitely just swept me there.
Well,
you're doing good.
Finger gun. So in here, there is a massive, there is a pretty big Velcro surface.
Okay.
So from top to bottom, left to right. You can absolutely put a subcompact and some compacts in the small, and in the large. Yeah, you can check yours out there.
I guess I didn't notice it. I just saw the Vanquest orange and I'm like, okay, that's good. But yeah, it is a Velcro type. Okay, got it.
Yeah, so any CCW accessory that's hooking loop, you can throw back there, and most subcompacts and even a lot of compacts will fit in there too. I have the larger one, so if you do have something a bit bigger for your sidearm, then this might be a better option. But both still have that loop lining in the back panel.
Yeah, I think most of the people that I know that wear fanny packs are either at Disneyland or they're carrying some kind of firearm in them. So
sure.
We have here for. I don't know what's worse, fanny pack or bum bag. Either sounds like they have sleazy backgrounds. Is what that's from Wandering Ranger. Is that a statement that Vanquest agrees with?
Well, didn't we call them waist packs?
I think officially they're a waist pack.
Yeah.
So maybe a little bit more reputable background.
Yeah.
Everyone has new names for them.
We have what material do you use for the bag?
Excellent question. So the one that I'm wearing, we have this midnight blue. There's also a shadow gray color, and they're heathered. I probably can't pick that up, but that means it's broken up. It's not just a solid color. There's some kind of white fibers in between. And this is our new Urban Blend, 400 denier fabric. And we also offer them.
So this is the multicam black. This is the other colorway. This is 500 denier Cordura. So if you still want that kind of Cordura fix, we offer it that as well, but only in multicam black.
Yeah. Now, Michael, you're using yours for a first aid kit. Is it available in red as well, or is that coming out?
So just because people often ask, hey, can I get this gear in OD green? Can I get this in mauve or taupe or some other made-up sounding color?
Will you do a limited run in real tree?
Right. And the issue is, we could probably make a very small amount of them, but we have minimums that we have to buy for fabric. Yeah. We can't just get 150 yards of something to make a couple runs or one micro run of something like this. We have to kind of invest. Yeah.
Let's see. We have Cascadian Preparedness. Do you normally wear on the front or the fanny?
I usually wear it like this. If I'm gonna rock it, this is the orientation I'll wear.
Yeah, it would be over the shoulder like that on the back.
Yeah, again, I think it goes back everything leads back to WWF or WWE, whatever you want. And back in the day, it was cool to wear on the belts on the waist when you're the champion. But I think now, modern day, like The Rock, or that's not even modern day anymore. But since like The Rock and Stone Cold, they started wearing over the shoulder. So I think that's the cool, approved way now of carrying the bum bag or the fanny pack or waist pack.
Yeah, that's the cool thing is if you noticed, you probably didn't, but if you noticed, there are belt loops on this model. So if you want to, you can take these this waist strap off. It just completely comes off through there. There's a little tri-glide, and you could run a belt through here.
Yeah.
You can certainly cinch this down and get it around the back of a headrest on a car, as well as you could
shoulder straps on a backpack. You can turn it into a chest rig.
If you had shoulder straps here, right? You can do what you want. I just wouldn't recommend zip ties because that's no fun. Any other way to connect these straps onto the backpack strap, and then you have a quick and easy way to get to everything. But really, it's up to you.
Yeah, it looks like the question that we had from Prepper Agenda. Hey, Mike, will Vanquest make a chest pack? And more importantly, will it design urban EDC backpack to compete with? Are you going to have any dedicated pockets for body armor? That's the question.
So it's I have actually right here our new EDC backpack. So this is, again, part of the urban series Mike and I are talking about. I'm going to go ahead and remove this. I have like 5 pounds of knives in here just for the video, so it's getting heavy. But this is our new EDC bag as well. Yeah. What we have actually in the back, it's kind of dedicated tech organization, so you can throw in a laptop or a tablet, but this will certainly fit an armor plate.
Yeah.
It's big enough. It'll hold, this is the 18-liter version, so it'll hold up to a 15-inch laptop.
Yes.
And then the larger 25-liter version will hold up to a 17-inch laptop. And I can't really imagine any armor plate being bigger than that.
Yeah.
But it's not necessarily specific to armor plating, but it will absolutely hold that.
Okay. And let's see, we had I don't know if you can answer this one. I'm just gonna we're gonna put it on anyway though. Let's see. So we have, why is Vanquest always slightly higher priced compared to Maxpedition for similar product? Are you guys saying that it's slightly better?
Oh yeah. So I mean, that's a good one. So the big thing is like the intent. The intent of our gear is to serve the customer. The customer is number one. We don't just make decisions because we think it's cool or interesting or what other companies are doing. Everything is based off of a lot of data collection from end users, be they professional background, guys like you and me, whatever they're doing in the world. They tell us what they like, what they don't like, features that are useful, things that don't work for them, and we incorporate all that to the product. So one of the things that some people know, but it's not exactly widespread, I guess, is Maxpedition was founded by 2/3 of the Vanquest founders. So the original Maxpedition crew, 2 out of 3 of them, founders and owners, they eventually walked away from Maxpedition because there's a parent company who owned all the manufacturing and designs who said, can you guys use better materials, like Cordura?
Yep.
And they're like, no, it costs too much. I'm like, okay, fine. Can we change the designs based off of user feedback, right? No, because that will cost money. You have to change the patterns and whatnot. Okay, great. What if we come up with a better design? What can we do with that? And like, well, we own it, not you. And so that was kind of the final straw. We parted ways years later, back in 2011, started Vanquest. And the goal is just to give customers what they want. So I guess you could say we're more tuned into customers, and some of the stuff that Maxpedition makes is pretty good. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just been, I would say, stagnant in that the improvements that do come along are, few and far between. There'll be improvements.
They're very small increments.
Small increments over a long period of time, whereas in a short period of time, we will put more effort into useful features and new materials and things like that.
Yeah, I think if you're not evolved, the thing with Vanquest, and you guys have proven it over the years, is that you're always evolving, you're always changing. You see little things that have been modified, sometimes based off of comments from YouTube videos or from things, and it seems like you guys are very listening to the customers very closely and trying to nothing's ever perfect, but it's like you're constantly trying to get to that point to make the perfect version of these certain bags with the highest quality materials.
Right.
Yeah, I actually. Without giving too much away, we're looking at potentially redoing an existing bag, and I was scouring YouTube comments for about an hour a couple of weeks ago, because that's literally that we get the most feedback from people like you guys who are going to put a video up, and then people in the comments say, I like the bag, and that's kind of the points that we want to pay attention to. So it's definitely, like Mike said, a lot of data collection, a lot of just trying to see what people really want, and then we want to bring that to the market.
We have Alpha Prepping saying, "What's the next big item in development for?" I guess you can't really say because then it'd be a ruin the surprise. But is there anything really big coming besides the fanny pack or bum bag or what? Or the waist bag?
Right. Yeah, like we mentioned, we just launched the whole Urban line, the whole Urban series. It landed. A lot of people pre-ordered so far. They're loving it. It's actually, again, normal looking. I would say, just doesn't peg you as a prepper walking down the street. You're not all tacked out, right? It's just
it's kind of a regular looking school bag here.
Right. And that goes back to the Vertex comment in that it's just a very plain bag, but absolutely it can support weapon systems, compact ones, armor, things like that, communications, electronics, day-to-day stuff.
Yeah.
You could say that you're going to see more medical gear in the future.
Cool.
Or medical focus gear. Again, we can't really get too specific on that.
Yeah.
But
I already love the glow in the dark little patches that you have for the medical, for the blood types and stuff like that. I think those are brilliant and awesome. So let's see. We have Apex Prepper saying, "Would you consider doing a collaboration gear series with the Urban Prepper?" I don't know. We can make it all color rainbow on the inside.
Well, I would say Apex Prepper. Too late. We already did it. It was the Prepper's color coding kit.
Yeah. Let's see. We have a couple more questions. And then we also have a Tactical Temptress who's going to be coming on next. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Tactical Temptress, but she would. I think she'd like to say hi too, and I think she would probably rock a fanny pack. But we'll find out if she would. So we'll bring her on in momentarily. Let's just do a few more questions for Vanquest. I'm seeing them fly through the comment section right now. Some people are having, some people are sold on it. Other people still can't get over that with the whole thing of it. Let's see. Are you guys still open for warranty repairs right now?
Well, that is a great question, Dan, because for a warranty repair, typically it's not something we can do on site. It would go back to the place of manufacture because let's say this YKK zipper is damaged. Well, if any of the coils or the teeth are damaged on the zipper, it's not something that you just, very easily cut a section out. The entire zipper track, starting from where it's sewn in on the inside of the bag, which stops right about there, that has to be replaced. So this whole thing has to be unstitched and redone. And you want it to be done at the factory that did the original work, mostly because it'll be the same quality in the first place. It's very rare for that to happen.
I haven't had a warranty repair in a little while, but I'd say we are still open to doing it. There's just a lot of uncertainty right now with actually transporting, getting it to the factory, and timelines are just kind of stressed out right now just because of that.
Extended timeline. Yeah.
And I noticed you guys aren't following the 6-foot quarantine separation rule. Is that have you guys both been infected or not infected?
Maybe I should put my my mask on.
Yeah, that we kind of require some kind of mask for these live streams typically. So.
You want me to breathe through this potato now? Well, we've been working. Again, it's not typical that both Taylor and I are in the office at the same time. I will be remote and he'll be in the office, and then we'll switch off during the week.
This is actually the first time I've seen him in person in like almost a month.
Yeah.
So
court orders,
Yeah.
Now, who do you feel has the better facial hair between Mike and Taylor? That's a question one of my own personal question. Mike's always rocking some kind of mustache, and sometimes it goes away, but.
You can't see right now, though. I have a hat on, Cliff, but this gets like fully afroed out if I don't have a haircut. So we'll ignore that, though.
That's one thing I don't think Mike could do as well. So
this is unmanageable enough. I mean, I had to put pomade in my hair for it not to be ridiculous.
It looks good though.
Yeah, I'm that guy.
If I sent you guys both Urban Prepper style hats, would you ever wear them? Yeah, yes or no?
I would.
I guess I could change my last name to Snipes or Jackson.
Okay.
Maybe.
Well,
sure.
Cool. Okay. So again, I'm sure most of the people that follow my channel already know they've known about Vanquest for years. These are some of the folks behind the brains on Vanquest, and we were talking a lot about, again, the fanny pack, which I'm going to be showing in some or our bum bag or waist pack, whatever you prefer to carry it. And I'm gonna be switching my pandemic EDC over to the fanny pack that's made by Vanquest. Unfortunately, I didn't have it in time for that video because I didn't know about it. But thank you guys for coming on. I thought I'd introduce you to the next guest for a little handoff over here. So I see you're sitting in the wings over here in the broadcast. Let's bring her on over here right now. We have Tactical Temptress. Meet Mike and Taylor from Vanquest.
Nice to meet you.
How you doing?
Pleasure to meet you.
Thanks.
Would you, Tactical Temptress, would you ever wear a fanny pack? Yes or no?
Sure.
You would?
Yeah.
What color would you prefer to? What color would the ladies like to wear? Camo, black, wolf gray.
Black is so easy to match with everything. I'd probably go that route.
Yeah.
I think so too. So maybe we could make something like that happen. And maybe your new purse could be a Vanquest fanny pack instead.
A gray silver would be kind of cool.
Yeah. It's always something we're listening to because obviously we can't just go crazy with the color. But if it's practical and people want it, we'll respond. Yeah.
So we have we have a pink camo is the request that I have in the chat room. So I don't know if that's available.
Mark. Pink camo.
You got it, Mark.
All right, Mark. We're gonna
weird enough, so maybe we can make it happen.
They're gonna have to buy a football field's worth of pink camo fabric to be able to source it. Then, so. Well, cool. Well, I want to thank you guys for coming on for the live stream, and I hope that you guys want to come on again because it's always fun talking with you and with various guests. So, and thanks again for speaking with the president. In addition to talking more about the fanny pack. So. All right. And for the potato too. So I think that was the theme of this particular segment. Yeah.
Who's prepping now, buddy? I'm going to bury this thing, all right? And I'm going to reap the benefits. With your mountain house.
Yeah, that's mountain house is overrated. The potatoes were on the movie The Martian. He didn't use mountain house. He used the potato.
No, the almighty tater.
I just don't think they can get the sponsorship. That's all.
Yeah,
I wonder if I could be sponsored by potatoes at some point or have an affiliate link for potatoes.
Have you heard of Russia? You might want to get Trump back on.
Do they have good potatoes there in Russia?
City, yeah, almost.
Okay. Well, again, thanks for Mike and Taylor for coming on the live stream. It was always awesome talking. Hopefully, let's reschedule to do it again because it's always fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, guys. All right, I'll see you.
All right,
thank you.
See you.
All right, it's just you and I now.
All right.
How's it going?
Good. Glad to be here.
Did you ever think you were going to be able to say hi to the president of the United States?
Yeah, that was a delight.
Yeah. It's sometimes it's tough to try to figure out the right type of question to ask in those situations.
He was impressive.
Yeah, it was pretty impressive.
Yeah.
We already have questions coming right off. A lot of people that have been following my channel are familiar with Tactical Temptress. You've been on since the very beginning, since the 2011, 2012, right around there for a variety of different videos. And so this is the first. And no, Tactical Temptress is not my wife. Everyone keeps saying my wife is her friend, and Tactical Temptress was the maid of honor at our wedding. But my wife refuses to make to appear on camera for these kind of things. We have the POTUS made you blush, is what we're hearing from. So yeah, we already have questions coming in. Tactical Temptress, what is your favorite video you did with the Urban Prepper?
The purse reveal and reorg.
That was a fun one. I like that one a lot. I like the one where you smash the fruit with the flashlight. Like for the first time that we did that, I thought that was pretty fun.
I did not think that was going to work.
Yeah, you're kind of becoming an expert like fruit smasher on YouTube. I think it's because you've done you've done it for the umbrella, you've done it for flashlights, and I'm sure we'll have something else down the road. So.
Can't wait.
So we're checking in with everyone to see how their quarantine is going. So how is your quarantine going, Tactical Temptress?
It's going fine. I work from home already, so honestly, not a lot has changed for me, other than I have a toddler running around the house that I have to entertain. Yeah, that's frustrating.
Yeah. So all these questions are coming in from Mark. We have. Let's see, Mark. What things from the early purse redo do you still carry? Do you still carry? That's like a decade ago now. Do you still have any of those items?
Damn, I need my purse. Yes, I do still have some of those items.
Do you have the pepper spray?
Whistle is
The whistle?
on my key ring still. Pepper spray. I honestly had to go back and look.
Yeah,
I can't think of anything else off the top of my head, but I know I'm going to open it up and say, "Oh."
Yeah. So there, a lot of people are asking about the various food challenges. You did one of the food ration bar challenge. I think did you do was it Daytrex or Mayday or Mainstay?
Yeah.
It wasn't Mainstay. Was it Mayday?
I think it was Mayday and Daytrex. I feel like you did it to me twice.
Yeah. Which do you have a favorite one or a worse one? The one that you hated the most?
No, it's fine.
You kind of rocked it. I was struggling through it. It was like no big deal. It was just kind of annoying.
Yeah, that's all it was.
Yeah.
It didn't bother me.
And Canadian Cascadian preparedness is, be honest, you didn't poo for days after the Daytrex bar. It does mess with your system, I think, overall.
I don't remember. Thank God.
We're not going to talk about it.
I talk about it enough with my toddler right now.
Yeah, that's all kids like talking about is poop for poop. That the kids and urban prepper chat rooms is for live streams. So one of the questions that we have on YouTube that's going on right now, it was started from a prepper. I think she's in the comment section, the chat room here still, from Mama Bear Preparedness. She started a video, kind of a chain series that's going through all the different prepper related channels, and it's like, what's the three now that we've gone through this COVID thing, or we're going through it actively? A lot of people felt that there's some changes they needed to make to their preps, or they should have done. They were totally caught off guard with certain things. They didn't have enough of something. If you could change three things, if you could have a do-over, what's the three things that you wish you would have done prior to some kind of a pandemic event like this?
Medical isn't quite the right word, but supplies of that nature, masks. I didn't
so
have
like
any.
the PPE stuff. Then.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. I had, I think, 5 surgical masks.
Yeah.
Just by chance.
Yeah.
And so I would love to have something a little bit more appropriate. A freezer, a second freezer, that is, would have been really nice.
Yeah, we ended up buying a freezer for our garage because we have the main refrigerator, and then we have one downstairs, but they both had small freezers if we wanted to be able to store a lot of stuff. And so but a lot of the freezer stores were starting to sell out of them really quickly, but we were lucky that we found a secondhand one. So Third thing, what do you think? So number one, PPE items. I think most people, I had PPE items as well, but I think everyone could have used a little bit more, especially on the masks and the hand sanitizer. Then number 2 was a freezer, a large freezer for long-term storage and stuff. And then number 3, what do you think?
Probably just more supplies of food.
Yeah.
I did a Costco run right back at the start of it, and I spent, oh my God, $400, and that felt like insanity to me.
Yeah,
it's just me and my husband and my 3-year-old, and we went through that really fast. And I've been very guarded about going out. I usually purchase and have it brought to my door instead.
Yeah,
but I don't have a lot of space to put it, and the money, the disposable money income to just put into supplies of food. I wish I'd had better planned for that.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, they talk about having a certain amount, enough money to pay for the bills and stuff, but I'm finding that we're spending more money on food than normal, I think. So I think most people probably want to have to adjust their kind of their savings plans, for emergency savings plans, I think.
Yes.
And so the last video that you were in with us is we did the Dexter video together. That was almost a year ago now. Wow. And a lot of I've been using a lot. I mean, some of that plastic stuff is coming into play now. So what's the next video that you think we should do together? Is there a specific? Oh, we already have one that we were about to work on, right?
We do.
And again, and the whole coronavirus messed it up.
Yeah, that's true.
Should we still make that one, do you think?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Because I want to test it.
Yeah. So Maxwell Temptress for your husband for Christmas. It was like, what do you get him? And you were kind of thinking about an emergency emergency ladder for second floor to get for a fire escape, right?
Yeah. This window right here.
Yeah. So So we're going to be testing that out on that particular window, and I think you got is it the first alert, or there's a few different brands that we went with, right? Do you have it here?
I have it.
It's
right
ready
under
to go.
My desk. And
look at that.
Box, but I don't know where else I would put
kid.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. So we were talking about putting a GoPro on, and we could both try. Were you willing to try to go out the window, or is that a safety? Are you going to sue?
I'm good with it. You might have to have words with my husband.
Yeah, he might not like it. I'm totally down to do it, and yeah. So cool. Well, as soon as we can, we should definitely try to film that. We haven't seen you for a little bit because we're all in our own places, but let's definitely film that fire escape video. So it looks like I'm reading some of the comments. We have Mama Bear Preparedness here. She's a YouTube prepper. Thanks for asking her. Love hearing what others have to say. If you're a creator in the chat, I'd love to post a video listing your 3. So Mama Bear Preparedness, I could give that to you. I could splice up that one and give that to you directly. Because Tactical Temptress does not have her own channel. She appears on my channel because I'm very fortunate to have special guests like this. So we have special guests like Tactical Temptress. We have the president. We have a few other ones that come on the show. Let's see.
Having just listed off those things that I wish I'd had, I don't feel like my name is appropriate to be tactical.
Yeah, I
feel like I'm living a lie.
it's a good name though, and I feel that if we don't have the domain name, we should get it pretty quickly. I shouldn't have said that because someone in the chat room is going to steal it right away. So, let's see, Melody, good answer. Yep, PPE and a freezer and foods, seeds for sure. Now, speaking of seeds, you've been doing some gardening lately. Are you doing flower gardening or like edible gardening? Cool.
I'm doing edibles for the very first time this year. I have a couple little raised beds. They're small. I'm starting small to figure it out.
Yeah.
But it's fun.
Yeah.
Lettuce and kale and beans sprout up and carrots.
Yeah. And we're trying
potatoes.
Yeah. And we're trying to do the gardening out here, although Mrs. Urban Prepper she likes her roses, and so there's a lot of roses, but we also have a special garden that we're planning for like the edible type stuff. And so and we still have, if you need any compost, we have a big amount of compost in our driveway. So
lots.
Yeah, it's like the kids are playing on it. They're like sliding down this compost pile right now because we're trying to figure out places to put it, and it smells lovely. It's
yeah.
But cool. So I guess what we have coming up next that for you coming on the channel, we definitely have to work on the fire escape. We should probably do a redo of the purse because it's been it's the decade anniversary of it. So I think it's purse time. Maybe we'll switch you up to a fanny pack, maybe.
Oh.
And any other ones that you think that we should cover on the channel together?
I'm always open. You throw me an idea and I say, okay, why not? Whatever.
Yeah. So
ask for ideas.
Yeah, oftentimes whenever Tactical Temptress is on a video, it's like, hey, do you want to be on a video? Sure. And then you have no idea what the video is, and then sometimes it's a Dexter kill room, or sometimes we're smashing fruit, or sometimes you're spraying me with pepper spray.
Right.
So I guess I'll just pick a topic and we'll just go with it then. So
yeah.
I get requests like about once a week. When's Tactical Temptress coming back on? So it's
man.
Yeah, I think a lot of people want you to have your own channel, but I don't think you have the time for that. Or have you considered doing that?
No, that seems so overwhelming.
Yeah.
The time that you have to dedicate to it, and no.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll just keep appearing with you.
Yeah. Okay. We have Cascadian Preparedness. Roses equal crack cocaine for deer. Yeah, that is true.
I don't thankfully have any deer in my area. Oddly.
Yeah. We have Mama Bear Preparedness says, do it. We need more women. So they're saying that we should that you should create your own channel. So I'll try to. I'll see what I can do on my end and see if we could just create it for you. So let's see. Yeah, the deer have been like my Mrs. Urban Prepper she loves the deer being in the yard because they're cute, and but they're also just destroying all of these these nice roses, and those roses they're not cheap.
No.
Yeah. Well, cool. Well, I don't want to take up too much more of your time. I know you have a lot of stuff going on. So, guys, stay tuned for more videos with Tactical Temptress. The next one coming up is going to be the fire escape ladder video. and I'm definitely going to do it. We're going to see if we could get Tactical Temptress to go out the window.
Hey, if you do it, I will do it.
Yeah, if I do it, you know that the weight limit is going to be properly tested. That you'll easily survive. And then I think we'll also do more on the purse EDC one. I think that's due for an update, version 2.0. Yeah, version 2.0. Well, cool. I want to introduce you to another friend of mine. He's over here right now. We have Thaddeus. Thaddeus is from Seattle. Let's see if he's there. Okay, let's bring him on. Really, Thaddeus. Meet Tactical Temptress. Tactical Temptress. Meet Thaddeus.
Hi.
It's always weird, like introducing these people during the handoff one. So,
well, I'm hearing her talk about the fire escape, and I was just thinking about that. So I was checking them out, and then, of course, where I live, I'm not in a house, and then I started looking at the ones that would be useful, and I'm like, oh, they get pretty pricey if you want a good one. And then I look in the mirror and go, oh, that's why they're pricey. I'm not small. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That's what we're doing.
Yeah, I'd imagine they have to have a pretty good weight limit just in case you have to carry stuff with you or person. So.
Yeah, the ones I was looking at had to hold well past 1,000 pounds because they were thinking for like a family size, get the kids down first, but then mom, dad, et cetera, and they even have ones that have little pet carriers that you connect to them too.
Yeah, and I've seen the baby ones, like for an infant, like because the infant can't scale down a ladder, so
correct.
It's like almost like a pet bag that's like fireproof, like and you could lower it down, so even if there's flames coming out the windows, like it'll protect it from that, right?
That's what those dad carriers are for, man. Sling the baby like a day pack.
Yeah,
and go ahead and just ride it on down. You good?
So it's like the baby Bjorn or the backpack style one.
Hey, well, you saw Vanquest Tactical, right? Tell them to make a baby sling. Just go.
That's a good idea.
And go on down. It's fine. It's fine.
The baby sling with some Molly webbing and Cordura fabric and all the good stuff that we expect from Vanquest. So.
# baby rig. I'm starting that now. It's a thing.
Yeah, start it. Let's get it going.
We're doing this. Temptress, that's your first video on your channel.
I'm putting it in the chat room. # baby rig.
That's right. Tell your husband. Get ready. He's got some repelling to do with infants. Just it's fine. It's fine. Don't worry about safety precaution. We got this. Don't worry about this.
Guys, Mama of Air Preparators. Hopefully the next one is the introduction to her channel. Yeah, everyone wants the Tactical Temptress channel, so let's just get that going. So we'll just do it. So I think people will like it. Well, thank you, Tactical Temptress, for taking the time to appearing on the live stream. You've met Thaddeus. You met the president. They're both pretty similar.
I think he has a little bit more influence and power than me. I don't
know about that. Well, cool.
I gotta get that orange dye though. I need to get that orangeness.
Yeah, I was meaning to let you know that you probably should work on that a little bit, but
we
all have stuff that we need to improve upon with our various EDC stuff. So. Cool.
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, Tactical Temptress, and we'll be talking more soon.
All right.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
See ya.
All right. It comes down to now there's just two. It's just us now.
I know.
So, how are you doing?
I'm doing all right, brother. How's everything in your world? How's the family and kids?
Everyone's doing really good. The kids are I think they're watching the stream downstairs. They're either watching the stream or they're watching cartoons.
So, okay. It's cartoons then. Yeah, cartoons are going to win.
Yeah, they typically they could care less about the videos.
No, they'll support dad when dad's around and/or has money. I'm used to this.
I like. Oh, by the way, I like your backdrop. It has all sorts of cool, like some awards and some maps.
Oh, yeah. I'm not a YouTuber like you, so I don't have all the fancy spaces and all that.
I saw you on the TV.
Sorry, now my daughter.
Oh no, you're fine.
You want to say hi to? This is Thaddeus.
Hi.
Friends. Say
there you go.
Hi.
This is a
how are you? Miss, how are you doing today? You doing good? Are you having fun?
Uh-huh.
All right.
Are you guys watching?
What else you got going on?
Oh, they say they're watching the stream. That's
oh, okay.
Okay.
Well, what else you got going on?
Oh, what else? What do you want to do today?
I want to go to preschool.
You want to go? She wants to go back to preschool. Is what she misses her friends in school and stuff.
Oh yeah, I'm sure a lot of kids are missing school, just like a bunch of adults are missing. They had a case of the Mondays now.
Yeah. We have Dutch Bike Blogger. Hi, Miss Prepper. We have Melody saying, "Hey, little cutie." So for those of you that aren't from, a lot of you, my audience probably has no idea who you are, but
half the time
you don't
I have no clue who I am. Yeah,
you don't have a
I'm
channel,
not.
but we've been meeting together several times now. Mostly,
Yeah.
how long have we been hanging out now? For a few, seems like a couple years now. So.
I think we're going on 2 years now.
Yeah, we're gonna have to celebrate our 2-year anniversary at some point.
Throw me in a video, man. Put flour in my face. Let's do this.
Yeah. So Thaddeus, for those of you unaware, so I'll give you the brief introduction, then you can fill in the blanks on where I messed up at. So Thaddeus is based in the Seattle area. We've been getting together for the past couple years now. I forget how it originally started. We were talking a lot about phone security and privacy, EDC apps and things like that. Thaddeus works, you're like a security expert in the Seattle area. You do a lot of security, not only for individuals, but also like building security, cameras, stuff with cameras, stuff with phones and apps and all sorts of stuff related to that. And that's your gig. In addition to, like, the first time we met, we're at a restaurant and you're doing all this like situational awareness type stuff where people were sitting and stuff. So that's like the basic Thaddeus intro that I have. Do you want to fill in the blanks on anything I missed?
I would put all of that and then remove expert, and then you got me. Yeah.
So
yeah, the moment you say expert, you're talking about another Thaddeus, and I got to meet that dude too because I have some questions.
Yeah.
So I do a lot, and then as far as like where we met at, that was just because I actually used to frequent the 5 Point that was next to it.
Yeah.
And back in my days when I first came back to Seattle, one of the very first condos I had was right there at the Watermark, which is across the street. So I'm very familiar with that area and the people that frequent it at all times of day and night.
Yeah. Yeah. What's the Golden Thai something? It was like a Thai restaurant, I think. Yeah. Yeah, after we met there, I started going there a lot more often because that's pretty good.
Oh yeah, no, the area itself is not. It's just one of those places where you want to keep your eye out. But all the food there, like, even when I was eating back in my days of eating meat and all that, I go to the 5 Point all the time because they've, in my opinion, had the best chicken fried steak. Period. Like, that was it. Now, that little strip always had good food.
When did you go vegetarian? I forget.
I first went vegetarian on and off in the military, and then I went vegan. Pretty much
vegan. Yeah, vegan. Sorry.
No, it pretty much transitioned like that, and I think it went, I don't know, like 3 to 5 years ago. I'd say about 5 years ago.
Yeah, very cool. So, let's see. We already have people. Does he have a channel, Thaddeus? Thaddeus does not have a channel right now, but we're talking about it.
I'll tell you what. I'll be the one after Tactical Temptress. After they kick me out of her window trying to climb a ladder.
If you showed up at Tactical Temptress's place, no, I'm here to test the ladder.
Yeah, ladder dude.
We talked on the live stream. She said it was cool.
You signed the waiver, sir.
Yeah. So one of the topics that we always like talking about, I figure we could talk here live with the audience here, the YouTube, is that we always talk about phones and phone security and a lot of different app setups. So, and you know a lot of information about this as far as it's not all like the mainstream stuff. It's not like you're talking whole different OSs, bootloaders, all that kind of stuff. I think we even talked about I don't even know if that particular phone is out, that Linux-based phone that has, what's the name of that one? But
there's a couple like that.
Yeah. Let's talk about, like, for a prepper phone. I even have a little note on my whiteboard back there. I don't know if you could, let me see really quick. If you could see it, the prepper phone is up there. You just can't see it right now. So what's the ideal prepper phone as far as for privacy and for security and in apps? And let's start going.
If it was me, I would say it would be mainly, well, first off, it would need a removable battery.
Yeah.
Because that's how if you're trying to move and not be found, killing the battery is pretty much the only way you can do it. After that, it would be a phone that only you would use for, communications with those around you. Basically an emergency phone, or what's the burner phone. That's a
Yeah.
popular term. So it's not something you got any apps on. You basically would have something that, if it's for preparedness use only, how do I put it? A stripped down smartphone, which can be done, or you would use one of those old school, what was that?
Do you use a
Like a
BlackBerry?
BlackBerry.
Yeah, BlackBerry.
Yeah, actually, I still have my BlackBerry. Hold on.
Yeah, a lot of people still rock the Blackberries because they can be pretty secure on that. While you're searching for it, we have a funny comment here from the Apex Prepper. It says, "A Thaddeus thrown from a ladder is the first video on his channel."
Oh, hey, that he's not far off. Not far off. That's, if anybody out there that's my age or older remembers the Fresh Prince of Bel Air,
Yeah.
it would be that scene where Jazz gets tossed out. Only it's my big butt going.
Yeah, we have a Wandering Wager talking about the Nokia 3310.
3310, and this is my quote unquote, prepper phone that's been serving me. I got this when it was brand new, and it's the original BlackBerry Curve, and basically the only thing I've replaced in it is the battery and the trackball. But anytime I travel or anything that I want to do where I either want to switch SIM cards or make it to where you have basically a lot more privacy.
Yeah.
You want to get something secure, but something like the Nokia, or those old school phones that had the flip down keyboard on it. Basically, you want a dumb phone. You don't want a smartphone.
Yeah. So for the ones that do have smartphones, like I after talking with you, I got a whole second phone just to use for this prepper phone, and I got it because I was gonna put it with a Linux OS on it and everything like that. But what are some of the privacy-based apps that you recommend? I know that we've talked about Signal and some other ones like that. So what are if for those that do have a smartphone that don't have the old school ones, what are the privacy secure related apps that you would recommend?
The first thing I would do is just like you were talking about, Signal. Signal is basically like my go-to. And what Signal does is it encrypts your text, phone calls, video calls. It allows you to, edit, so to speak, on, make sure that the other parties can't take screenshots if they've got Signal and whatnot. And it's basically a secure way to do everything on your phone. There's a lot of people out there that, they'll want to have something that can't be taken down. Like Wicker was a good one, but I quit using Wicker. Red Phone was an old one, but it didn't have like a lot of text features. But Signal's pretty much your overall. A lot of guys way higher above my pay grade in the same profession are fans of Signal.
Yeah, that's the one that's the one I use on my my phone as well. Especially so both people to get the best secure, both people should have Signal on it. But it's like totally
and there's
private.
a way you can send them a message to where, hey, here's the link, you can download it. Doesn't do anything, and then once they do, just make sure you remind them to use Signal as your default app.
Yeah. Totally. So we have Signal for text messages, and we could also do video and calls with it. We have some other people putting some recommendations on things. What about for email? I think are you doing Proton Mail? Is that?
Oh yeah, Proton Mail is another great one. It's pretty much for civilian use the most one of the most secure encrypted based emails that I've seen. So. Yeah, I would use that. There's a few other ones out there, but they're not, like I said, I don't speak on them just because I haven't used them long enough.
So I think Walter's referring to the black phone here, but the black phone, yes, you need to remove the battery because that's for security. Google has the black phone. Yeah, so I mean, I've been using the Faraday bags. I just did it. My last video was on the Mission Darkness Faraday bag, and I'm also going to be doing this another one as well down the road. So. But when you have it in that, you're not getting any kind of anything, so you can't actually use the phone during those times. Yeah,
well, that's a good idea for anyone that does have a phone that, because not everyone's paying for like, one of these. Well, even BlackBerry still has a more secure version with Android on it. Not everybody's trying to spend the money for that. So things like the bag and whatnot, those are also good ways, especially if you can't remove your battery.
Yeah. So would you have then this burner phone, I guess,
Yeah,
in your
it's
emergency?
trendy. We'll use it.
Yeah, I think it's the common term for it. I think is that something that you would include in your like bug out bag, for example, or an emergency kit, or just always carry the burner phone on you?
I would keep one. Actually, I would keep a few of them. What I do is I've got a bunch of like one person put in, the Nokia, the 3310.
Yeah.
Those are good. They're cheap. They're good. And like I said, you're not trying to be Jason Bourne or any of this other fancy stuff when you're going out. You're trying to make sure you can get in contact with your loved ones and or send text messages, like if you have GoTenna or something else like that.
Yeah.
So that's, you keep those in there. Keep a dumb phone that's got a very good battery on in your bag, and just buy a couple of them. You can go to pawn shops. You can actually go to certain websites. You can buy old phones in bulk for a very good rate. And
So
then just use those.
Yeah, we have. So can you still be tracked if your phone is turned off and the battery is still in it? Now,
Yes.
from what I've seen, you definitely could be tracked from that. Is that correct? Or?
Correct. I won't go into detail, but there are ways to where if you're, and I think it's foil hat time, but I think that's why they left a lot of batteries. That's why companies started leaving batteries in the phone so you couldn't get to them, is after a few things had happened. But there are switches, so to speak, to where you can turn somebody's phone on and still track them. Or if you think your phone's dead, your phone always has like enough juice to ping.
Yep.
So there is, if you can't take your battery out, just make sure that you either find a way to do it. If that's what you're trying to do, find a way to do it, or just be cognizant of that.
Yeah, for me, unless you could take the battery out, or you have a Faraday bag of some sort, they could track it even when the phone's off. And yeah, from my understanding, is they say the reason that they don't have removable batteries anymore is because it's more efficient as far as you could have a longer charge on the device, but also that comes with the drawback of that it always has power going to it no matter what.
Well, and there's a lot of people that tinker with phones. Like there's people out there that can turn your smartphone into something that is basically, what you were saying, a prepper phone. They'll completely scrub it way past rooting it, and they'll disconnect. They'll find how to disconnect the mics without, like for Android, without tripping Knox. There's a lot of things you can do with it, but that's why Apple has such the reputation that it does. It can be done, but it's hard as heck to do it.
Yeah.
And companies don't like people tinkering with their products.
No. What VPN are you using now, or do you use a VPN?
I use one with the company, and the VPN that I trust is a Tenta browser.
Yep.
Good friends of mine, Jen, and he's gonna kill me, but I forgot his name. I just woke up. Sorry, folks. But yeah, Tenta browser, TENTA browser. It's on Apple and iOS. Basically, they're good people. But basically, what the app does is there's a free version that just gives you the VPN. You can still browse, securely. You can choose what country you want to be from or how often the signal will switch and whatnot. But then there's a paid version, which is, I don't know, like $7.99, if that. But basically, it'll lock your whole phone down. So basically, it'll encrypt everything. So you don't have to go through and encrypt every app one by one. It'll actually go through and lock your whole phone down. Or if you're using any of your apps, for you kids out there, if you take Dad's phone and he's got Tenta browser on, you can't play Pokemon Go because Pokemon Go does not know where you are. So it's awesome.
Yeah, I found that when I do have the VPN, I've been using Nord, but I also have tried the Tenta browser one as well, which because you recommended it, and I found that most of the sites and apps that I use do not play nicely when it's on a VPN because it doesn't like that. It doesn't know where I'm at. So
no, it can't tell where you are, and that's the beauty of having it. Or like I saw one of the comments said, Tor is the old school. That's the OG VPN. So yeah, that's still a good one that you can still get on phones as well.
Yeah. Now, so you're using Tenta browser as your browser as well for your mobile device, then?
Yeah. When I want to make sure if I'm doing something that needs to be secure on my phone, then I'll turn Tenta all the way on. and then use the VPN through that. But if it's just regular, surfing the web and whatnot, I'm 9 times out of 10, I'm on something that's not a mobile device. I don't do a lot of mobile searching.
Yeah.
That's not my thing. In my experience, it's come to learn that a lot of people on a lower level, especially ID thieves and whatnot, it's a lot easier to track you on your phone and get information through your phone if you're going through the internet than if you're on a secure laptop, or even if you're at work using desktop and all that. So yeah. If I am browsing, quote unquote browsing, I'm always on Tenta, but very rarely am I using that on my phone.
Yeah, and when on my laptop, I use because is Tenta just for mobile devices then?
For right now, yeah, they just got acquired, or they just got picked up with another company, so they've got some new stuff coming out too.
Yeah, so I use Brave for my browser for that. I have Chrome on there because it works nicely with the streaming software, but most of the other times when I'm not doing streaming, I'm using Brave for mine.
Brave is awesome. Basically, any company that's out there that's usually in the media for, not being known for playing well with the big boys that are already there, or if they're, the media's trying to make a little bit of trouble, that's usually one you want to check out. You don't want to trust it. You don't want to trust anything fully, but that's usually like I said, I've seen a couple things where Brave was rocking the boat a little bit, and then I checked them out, and they're definitely a good one to use, and I think you can use them on your mobile device as well. Yeah,
so it looks like Walter is also using Norton VPN. We have Resident Greg. VPNs are a double sword. The IP range could be blacklisted, so Google or any other site with the right code could filter what is seen or accessed.
They can, but I mean, what are you doing to get to that level?
Yeah. Let's see. We have Walter. Yeah. So DuckDuckGo web. I don't have the web browser DuckDuckGo, but that's what I use for my search engine. I don't use Google anymore. I use DuckDuckGo.
Yeah, Google for a search engine, it's convenient, but it's basically, when you get online, it's kind of like going out into public. What do you want people to know?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's a lot of good products out there, but even then, you still want to do your research, and you want to actually dig. You don't want to take my word, your word, anybody else's word. If you find something you like, before you test it out, look into it. Do a Bing search or whatever on DuckDuckGo, or try this product out, but then research the product yourself and see what's going on, or look to see if they're a publicly traded entity. That says a lot about a company as well.
Yeah, totally. So we have some a lot of people are into the old school Linux distributions for theirs. Let's see, we have Xcraft over here, Proton Mail, Proton VPN, Proton Calendar. I think that's a good setup too.
Yeah.
We have O5 generic. I'm impressed with Thaddeus' knowledge. So we got to, after you come out with the ladder, breaking into Tactical Temptress' house with the ladder, then you got to start, maybe a YouTube channel on this kind of privacy stuff.
Oh, well, see, there we go. That's all. Kids, listen. That's all you got to do. Get kicked out of somebody's window trying to go down a ladder. Get a YouTube channel. That's how this works.
Yeah. I'm loving all the comments, and keep providing the comments in the chat room. I'll put them up there as I see them. So I use start page for searches, plus they have the proxy to connect if you want to. Let's see what else.
And these are when I'm not on.
Have you ever had that where you're not even on your phone, or you're not searching for anything, and you're talking to someone about something, and then all of a sudden you start receiving ads for it on some other device? Has that happened to you?
Oh yeah, it used to happen to me, but I went and started using every type of like at work we're only permitted to use certain things, but if I'm just surfing or whatever, I'm always on an ad blocker, or if I'm looking for something, I'm not on a mobile device. There's a lot of things I don't need to be sold to. But obviously with your phone, I've had Google turn on. I can't tell you how many times that thing's turned on. Oh, I'm searching for this. No, I don't need you to search for that. I didn't ask for that. Joe Rogan said that. I didn't say that. I don't need you to do that. So it's out there.
Yeah. So Well,
And these comments are awesome, man.
Yeah, they're
the
great.
fact that people are looking at all these different products
See,
and
we
know what they
have
got to
to
do.
come out with that video because I think it's a good one. So this whole coronavirus thing screwed it all up for us because we're rocking and rolling on that. So let's see. I think the phone that I was kind of looking at, I think it's the Purism, the Librem 5. That's that Linux based one. That's like where you have a hardware based. You could turn off the camera with a hard switch and everything.
Yeah, exactly. That's something like that. Like I say, if you're willing to invest money into like a newer smartphone, but you want to look into being more secure, look into products like that and spend, maybe a little bit more, sometimes a little bit less.
Yeah. So uBlock, Privacy Badger, plus Reference Blocker are on my browser. We have a prepper agenda here. Any opinions on satellite phones?
They're awesome.
Put it on your website banner.
Yeah,
that's
you can. They're a good tool. They used to be expensive, dude. You can get a sat phone now. I've seen them under $1,000. The only thing you're really paying for is the time to use it. If you have the resources, they're an awesome thing. But just remember that you're not paying for just the phone, and you get to sit there and it'll just turn on whenever you want. You've got to go through some steps, and it's got its own, depending on what company you're going through that phone, it's got its own SIM card. It's got its own, it's not as quick and as cool as TV makes it look. But yeah, if you have, a couple of grand that you want to invest in making sure that you've got like some of the ultimate, but at the same time, make sure that it's going to be something that you can use that somebody else, like you're going to be able to contact somebody else. Like that's why I have this.
Yeah. The
only reason I have this is there was a brief moment in time, I don't know how many years ago, where years ago, AT&T went down. I think it was during maybe during a hurricane or some natural disaster that happened, but AT&T went completely down, and nobody was able to use their phone because there was such an influx. They shut the system down. Well, this is still when BlackBerry, nobody knew it, but BlackBerry has their own satellite. They still do, as far as I know. But I was still making phone calls because I was using BlackBerry service. Now there are people that are privy to having a BlackBerry device to where I think certain services you pay extra, but you can still use BlackBerry's own satellite if you're trying to make phone calls. There's all sorts of little things you can do.
Cool. So, man, there's a lot of great comments that are coming in here from all these people. Yes, on all my devices. For a while, I was using Gorilla Tape. I think someone mentioned it in this over the camera over here, Mark Olson. They have some nice little stickers it's like a little slide button. I have it on this laptop that I'm using now, and on my phone.
Yeah, I got it on my laptop as well.
I'll just creeped. So I need to put it on my wife's phone and stuff because we're kind of creeped out by it. So
yeah, I'm not a fan of. Basically, I'm not a fan of taking my phone everywhere. Yeah. So like if I'm at the house, my foil hat stays on, so I just leave my phone somewhere on a dresser somewhere, in a room or whatnot. And if it rings, then I'll just get up and I'll go to it. I think that's the main thing is people have sort of compromised too much security for convenience.
Yeah.
You can still have all these nice things, but you can put apps on it. You can do, analog security, or, like I said, just set your phone somewhere else. You're not going to be looking at it.
Yeah, you don't need it all the time. It's hard, but I'm trying to detach a little bit from the phone. Although yesterday my wife didn't like, I was on the phone a lot yesterday. So, but it's definitely hard because we're in a fast paced environment now. We have a couple of friends that are on the broadcast now. They've been in the chat room over here and talking. So we have the Apex Prepper. We're bringing on really quick. So Apex Prepper, welcome. And then we also have, I see Austin Chambers is. Let's see. Here we go. Boom. There we go. And we also have Austin Chambers over there. Thaddeus, meet the guys.
Hi. Yeah. Hey, Team No Hair. That's how we doing this.
This is a good
I'd
way.
rather be half bulb by choice than half bulb without one.
Hey, I'm right there with you, brother. I'm right there with you.
So I'm thinking that this whole phone, private prep, the prepper phone of Bernie, sorry, Apex Prepper. I think it's a good roundtable topic. What do you think?
I think it's a fantastic topic. You know, something that I think we often forget about is not just preparedness, right? But then the tools that we use while we're preparing, and and how we use those tools. So yeah, fantastic. I think it's doable.
Thaddeus, what was that bottle that you were drinking out of it?
Oh,
it was humongous.
It's not Asahi anymore. It used to be Asahi, I don't know, weeks ago. This is the quickest and easiest 2-liter or whatnot. What is this? Yeah, 2-liter bottle. I'll fill it up with water because I got one of those pure water filters.
Water.
Hey, water, sir. Water. Water.
Go with the gas can again. That was.
But you put. But no, you put it in your fridge. 10 minutes, you got ice cold water, man. Because it's. Hey,
I want to
down there. Water down there.
That's funny.
Hey, catch me on my day off.
That may not be bad to carry because it's actually lightweight. I've
oh, it is.
Before.
Bam! See.
This comes
right there.
Part of the live stream.
Right there.
Right
Austin,
there.
That's from my EDC.
Yeah. What's your EDC today, Austin?
Well, that was from my ankle holster. I had my gallon of MCT oil. Hand sanitizer. You know, you got to have some of that.
Yeah.
Oh, a Santa Claus necktie.
There we go.
You just never know.
Yeah.
And then my EDC knife this week is just a little something I picked up from the flea market. You know.
Wow. Is that the Predator knife?
No, you got to show that again.
Show that one more time.
Yeah.
Man, look at that.
It's great for watching Game of Thrones. So.
Totally.
He's rolling around with the Tongan toothpick. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Are you going to do a review of that knife on your channel?
No, probably not.
Yeah, I'd like to see it. So I like that with 3 out of the 4 of us that probably all have Austin's book, and I think I have mine at the back there. If you could see it, I see that the Apex Prepper
or us.
Yeah,
I'm next on the list.
Okay, good. Yeah, we got to improve your backdrop a little bit, Thaddeus, because you don't have a Austin Chambers Cascadia Fallen book in the background.
Well, you know what, Austin, throw me out your window too. I'm sure I'll get some books out of that as well. It's fine. It's cool. Just get a ladder. Toss me out. Of
course, man. I only have one in here because I knew he would say something. I would have been guilty too, right? So.
We should see if we could give President Trump one of your books, maybe Austin. To
yeah, there you go. Actually, I did a meme generator meme just a couple of days ago of Trump reading my book on his phone. So
yeah, I saw that. That was hilarious. Everyone's liking that knife. Mark loves it.
My son collects cool looking things like that. He thought it'd be funny for today's EDC dump. So
yeah, that's it's not as good as the laminator EDC, but
right. No, I thought the Shores kit was a big hit. So
yeah,
Shabazz does need to look at that.
Yeah, are you guys in the shave club or what?
Yes. Hey, all you people with hair, you don't worry about this right now. Yeah. Team Cue Ball is speaking right now.
Yeah, right. That's funny. So, Austin, I know you have some stuff going up. You have to get going in a little bit, so I want to make sure we got everyone on there. So
yeah, cool. Thanks for having me on again.
Yeah, thanks for from what I saw in the chat room, it didn't seem like we didn't have too many bad people there.
Not the last 2 weeks, knock on wood. So
yeah, you guys have really flushed out all the bad guys.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, that's cool. And the Apex Prepper, you have a lot of your backdrop's changing a little bit too. I see it's been reorganized.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's all prop stuff for the show here.
Yeah.
So I feel so insignificant. There we go. with my knife.
That's a nice knife typically, but it doesn't match up to
No.
Chambers knife at all.
Is that kind of like serrated all the way across the whole edge?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Show that edge again. Now, did you do that, or does it come like that?
No, it came like that.
Yeah, I know Michael from Vanquest is a big fan of the serrated Spyderco. So.
Yeah, man, serrated is the way to go.
Thaddeus, what do you have a EDC knife check? Do we have a knife on you?
Yes, I've got.
Well, let me get the banner going. EDC check. Oh, okay, there we go. Yeah, I like that.
It's just a little Spyderco bird, and then I got my other. It's my letter opener actually, but I got a dagger one. This actually is this is a knife that they make in Russia. Not a bad little company. Nice. But yeah, those are what I don't have the Arkansas toothpick. Like I can't do that.
I have the smallest knife on me out of all the four of us. I have I feel inadequate, but this is the case knife. So
what do you think I'm compensating for?
That's all right. Just whoever says anything, Austin, throw them out your window. I'm telling you right now, just throw them out your window, man.
We're gonna have to start up a weekly chat, the Being Bald Club.
So
sold.
Well, guys, I definitely think we should carry on this conversation in a future episode where we could talk a lot more about those the prepper, the ideal prepper phone. I think that's a cool topic. So
yeah,
I think that'd be a fun one. Any final thoughts in the chat room? Let me see. People just seem to, in general, be enjoying what they're seeing. Marco, Austin has big hands, though. That is
allegedly. By the way, very good on you and getting the entire president here today. That was awesome.
Yeah, that was I really liked. That was a big treat, and he kept it right down the middle, which was good. Hopefully, I didn't lose like 10% of my subscribers by.
You had like 6 thumbs up or thumbs down pop up, so you've really amped up your A game on trolls there. So.
Yeah, did I get a couple thumbs downs on that one? Or?
Yeah, it looks like it.
Yeah, okay. It goes with the territories.
They're bots. I found out it's all bots.
Yeah, I would love to have more. If the president wants to come on again, I think it'd be fun. We could have some more questions for him. So. What the Apex Prepper and Thaddeus, do you have any special questions that you would like to ask the president in a future episode?
What's his bunker like?
Yeah, I saw that one. I wasn't able to get that.
Yeah, it looked like he was like, "Oh, are you in your bunker?" Because that would be really.
Yeah, he didn't look like he was at the White House. Yeah, I don't think he was at the White House for that. I don't know where he was at. Thaddeus, what about you?
You know what? Because I know he'll have an answer that doesn't make sense. Chili Mac or Four Fingers of Death?
Oh, man, that's good questions. Let's see. We have a fun chat. Made me smile. We need All America Prepper on some. I've been trying to get All America Prepper. It's he's been very controversial on YouTube, so it'd be fun to get him on at some point. I'm working on it. So.
He's been busy.
Yeah. So, well, cool. I think that basically wraps it up. I'm almost done with coffee over here, and it's been a fun show. And Austin has things places to go. Thaddeus hasn't slept enough because I know you just went to bed. You got off of work at 5 a.m., right? Thaddeus?
Yeah. Wow. Well, I'm all right. I got a good 5 hours of sleep, man. We're good now. It's time for me to get some coffee and start the day.
Cool. So. Well, thanks everyone for this has been a really enjoyable live stream. I had a good time. It really flew by for me. A lot of good, cool guests. We had Shane from Naked and Afraid. We had the president. We had Tactical Temptress. We had Vanquest. We had the Bald Club, and we had the Bald. And we even saw Austin Chambers' new EDC knife, which is awesome too. So,
are you going to continue to do the weeklies? I know you're on the hook on that. So,
well, I might try to switch it to a different time or day. I'm not sure because I know it cuts right into some people's Saturdays, but I'm having a fun time doing it. As long as people still want to keep watching it, I'm totally down for it. But if people stop watching, I guess I'll have to just do other videos, I guess, but we'll see.
No, I'm having fun, helping out and enjoying the company. So yeah. I say keep it up.
Do you want to say bye to everyone?
Bye.
You say bye.
All right, Little Miss Prepper.
All right, Little Miss Prepper is going to be signing off for this particular live stream. But again, thanks to Thaddeus, thanks to Austin Chambers, the Apex Prepper, and all the guests that we had for this episode. This was a fun one, and stay tuned for next week. We have a lot of fun guests. We're going to talk a lot about gardening next week, so that'll be a fun one. And I'm trying to get some more fun surprises in store for the viewers, so hopefully you guys enjoy it. So, all right, I'm going to go outside and hang out with the family. So,
all right,
guys.
See ya.
Say bye.
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 Okay.
Yay.
Hey. End broadcast. There we go.